Hey everyone. Hope everyone's enjoying their Sunday afternoon. You probably didn't expect to see me today. There's not a lot of activity going on. Oh, hold on. Let me move this so you guys can actually see me. You probably weren't expecting to see me today because there's not a lot of activity going on. However, I wanted to touch in on some things we got going on across the South, some unusual stuff going on across the South. One of those is being we have winter storm warnings in effect anywhere from northeast Mississippi through northern Alabama, which is bizarre. I can't remember last time I saw that. It's been a good minute. And then we have a tornado watch across portions of Georgia, South Carolina, and the extreme northern portion of Florida. So the first thing I want to show you guys is the heavy snowfall that's impacting parts of Alabama, Mississippi. Again, not really that common. My chase partner, he lives in Huntsville, which is right here. And last week when we were chasing storms, I asked him if it was common for people to have snowplows on the front of their trucks in Alabama. He said it's not that common. So now I know it's not that common for people to be prepared for snow in Alabama. We have extremely heavy snow falling right here. So heavy that the Storm Prediction Center has actually issued a mesoscale discussion out for localized really heavy snow across portions of North Alabama. If you're from the South, let me know how common it is for snow down here. I don't think it's that common. I can't remember last time that I've seen winter storm warnings in Alabama. Tennessee up in the higher regions of the mountains here, we got the Appalachians that come down here. Or Appalachian, sorry, that come down through here. Maybe a little bit of higher elevation, you can get some snow, but I mean, we're talking anywhere from this region right here, seeing some pretty decently falling snow right now. I think they said 2 to 4 inches expected across this area. You can see now as it moves to the northeast, it's starting to transition from rain and more heavy snow here as it approaches the Decatur, Alabama area. We know Florence yesterday, right here's Florence. That area was under that tight rotation, under that supercell thunderstorm that we thought was going to go tornado warned. So pretty crazy weather happening in Alabama right now. We thought yesterday was potential tornado outbreak, and now we got snow. Hot Rod says from North Carolina, we don't get the snow. Okay, so even in North Carolina, they're not getting snow. So imagine how odd it is for Alabama. It's crazy. Joyce is from Ohio in the house. Thanks, Joyce, for being here. It's true winter snow in the winter. Yeah, it's still winter for sure. It's just not that common to see snow way down south. I mean, there's actually snow happening almost to the Gulf of Mexico. So right here's the Gulf of Mexico. Here's Mobile, Alabama, which is right on the Gulf. And then here's snowfall. Honestly, if we probably switched radars to maybe a little bit further south, we might have snow that far south. Yeah, look at that. So here's pockets of snowfall, maybe 50 miles north of the Gulf of Mexico. That's insane. That's crazy. I don't think I've ever seen snow that far south. There's the Gulf of Mexico. Right here in the yellow, here's a severe thunderstorm warning. Down here in the bottom, oh, you can't see it. My face is in the way. So here's a severe thunderstorm warning within that tornado watch over there in Georgia and South Carolina. And then here's snow back here to the west behind that cold front, and then just north of the Gulf of Mexico. It's crazy stuff. 78 degrees the last 3 days in North Carolina. Yeah, I don't know. There is a chance for snow for you guys as well. Actually, what we'll do here is I will take us over to the Storm Prediction Center website. First thing I want to do is I want to talk about that mesoscale discussion for the heavy snow potential there in North Alabama. And then we'll get into winter storm warnings as well, so I can show you guys that. Okay, so here's the mesoscale discussion number 23, issued by the Storm Prediction Center. You can see in pink, they have it circled anywhere from northern Alabama, eastern to central Tennessee, probably includes Nashville, northwest Georgia, and extreme western North Carolina. So those who are saying that North Carolina isn't seeing much snow, it's about to change. You have increasing potential for winter precip, including moderate to heavy snow in that purple shaded area, I think through midnight Central Time, or Eastern Time, maybe. Through midnight. Let's read what it says. Concerning, of course, heavy snow is what we're talking about. Periods of moderate to heavy snow will likely develop through this evening as temperatures begin to drop and forcing for ascent strengthens markedly. Snow rates of half an inch to 1 inch per hour will be possible with the strongest bands. Brief periods of mixed precip, including sleet and freezing, may also develop. So not only is parts of Alabama, Mississippi, South Carolina, Georgia, North Carolina getting hit with snow, they're getting hit with freezing rain as well. So the roads are going to be completely ice. Cheryl says South Carolina does get snow sometimes. Tornado watch until 10 o'clock. That's another crazy thing, is that it's cutting it really close between seeing a tornado or seeing snow if you're in the Carolinas. It's right there on the edge. So depending on what part of the state you're in makes the difference, right? So there's tornado watch for parts of South Carolina. There's also winter weather approaching South Carolina. You see that winter pink shaded area just missing the western portion of South Carolina. There's that low pressure system, so north that producing that heavy snowfall. Let's go to the main page here. We'll go to hazards, take us to weather.gov, and then we'll zoom in here. So here's your winter storm warning for North Alabama. Includes Huntsville, Stevensville, even southern portions of Tennessee. Snowfall totals 2 to 3 inches. I do remember them saying somewhere in maybe the heaviest bands you can see up to 4 inches. And then winter weather advisory, and there's other places, okay? Keep in mind, this area of the country isn't used to cold temperatures and snowfall. So they actually have to make it known to dress in layers. So it says right here, I can probably zoom in a little bit so you guys can see that. So they're actually making it known right here to dress in layers because, like I said, that part of the country doesn't see, that winter style of meteorology as places like Minnesota and the Midwest gets to see. Avoid traveling if possible. This is literally telling people just don't travel. Avoid it if you can. Now, winter storm warnings with 2 to 3 inches. Now, 2 to 3 inches in like areas like Illinois, Minnesota, Wisconsin, that's not a winter storm warning. It's just simple as that. Usually that's a winter weather advisor or maybe a winter storm watch at the most. 2 to 3 inches is not that big of a deal if you live in the Midwest, mainly because people that live there are used to it, right? If you live in the North or anywhere across the heaviest snow areas of the country. However, in the deep South, 2 to 3 inches is considered a lot. A winter storm warning is enough to get it issued. And they even tell you to stay off the roads because people aren't used to, driving in those conditions down there. This goes from 6 p.m. tonight, Central Time, through 3 a.m. tomorrow, Central Time. So this goes until well after midnight for that snowfall potential. Okay. And then on top of that, there's also a tornado watch out for portions of South Carolina, Georgia, extreme versions of South Carolina, very, very small part of it, Georgia, and then it looks like, is that, I can't tell. Oh, maybe that isn't Florida. It looks like Florida, doesn't it? Nope, it's not Florida. So you can see Georgia and South Carolina under that tornado watch number 10 for that line of storms that's trekking its way through, which I'll show you on radar here in a second. It's pushing its way east towards the Atlantic. This goes for until 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. It says primary threats, a couple of tornadoes are possible. Mainly scattered damaging winds and isolated significant wind gusts to 75 miles per hour. That is very strong winds. That is enough to knock some trees over. That's almost like derecho wind speeds, only it's not consistent. I-40 in the Smokies will be fun tomorrow. Yeah, definitely stay off any interstates that go through the mountain ranges there tomorrow. It's going to be an absolute nightmare to try to drive in. If you have to drive in, of course, I understand, but we'll get into other states here in a second on the winter storm cluster. I'll get right back to that here in a second. We're going to cover tornado watch real quick because that is a concern. So let me take you guys back over to radar scope. we will zoom in on the storms that are going right now in portions of upper parts of Florida, and then also southern part of Georgia. So look at that line of storms racing to the east. Let's see if any of these are rotating just yet. Look at the dark. So this light blue color here that's tucked in the storm, that is, oh, let me go down a little bit. You guys can barely see it. So this light blue here in this storm, that is very high wind speeds, okay? So that means this storm is producing a good amount of wind. I'm sure that the National Weather Service sees that. Let's see what the wind speeds are being recorded in this severe thunderstorm warning. So they're only reporting 60 mile per hour wind now. Radar indicating. I would imagine that this is a little bit more. There's a lot of counties in here in Georgia. This is a very big severe thunderstorm watch. They're reporting only 60 mile per hour winds, but I bet there's probably isolated 70 miles per hour somewhere right in here, probably in the Thomasville, Georgia area. That is really being impacted pretty good by these heavy winds. And then back further south, including Tallahassee, we'll switch to their radar right now. Even off towards the Gulf of Mexico coast, you have really high wind speeds there. And then just the line going all the way up. Fortunately, I'm not seeing a ton of areas rotation, maybe a little bit here near Pavo, Georgia. Let's switch back to the other radar and see if maybe that's showing anything. Not really. So it really just depends what radar you're looking at. Not a lot of tightening rotation, but some significant wind happening right in here. Probably getting up to 70 miles per hour, or maybe even hitting that 75 mile per hour wind gust that they're talking about in the tornado watch. Okay, we'll come back to that. There are no tornado warnings out right now, just 2 severe thunderstorm warnings. Let's talk about the crazy snow that's impacting portions of Alabama. We'll see which way that snow is going for those who live in the South and are curious. Look at all that snow. It's really starting to extend up now. You see all that rain transitioning into snow as the temperature drops, all the way up to include Nashville. Those are really heavy bands of snow, probably dumping an inch an hour, maybe more in localized areas. We can shift the radar back a little south, see how far south it goes. So you have a line of heavy snow just going all the way, even to include areas like Tupelo, Mississippi. Again, areas that aren't expecting to see heavy snow. Don't usually see it during the winter months. Usually it gets like 50 degrees and that's it, right? And then even further south, almost to the Gulf of Mexico, you have little pockets of snow all the way down near Meridian, Mississippi, Laurel, Mississippi, maybe 50 miles from the coast. So where is it going? I saw someone ask that question, right? Is it going to impact my state? Where is it going? Okay, so let's pull up the hazards tab here on the Storm Prediction Center. Actually, I'll switch to Pivotal Weather because I can actually zoom in a little bit better on Pivotal Weather than I can with the Storm Prediction Center. NWS hazards, here we go. Much better. Okay, so I'll show you where the winter weather is going. We'll jump back and forth between winter weather as well as the tornado watch that's in effect. That was weird. Okay, there we go. Sorry, apparently my computer had a seizure. So here is the current National Weather Service hazards, okay? So I had a lot of questions asking where it was going to go, things like that. And here, so I can draw on my screen. Okay, so you have winter storm advisories and winter storm warnings indicated by the purple and pinks going all the way up to the East Coast. Okay, so the purples indicate winter storm watches. That's as far south as almost to Jackson, Mississippi, Birmingham, Alabama, curves up to northwest Georgia, right? And then you have a little pocket of winter storm warnings going on to include areas like Huntsville, Alabama, close to Chattanooga, Tennessee. And then it breaks. And then you have another area of winter storm warnings that extend well over 200 miles, going all the way up to the East Coast, areas like New Jersey, Trenton, New Jersey, that area, Delaware, close to Washington, D.C., all that area under that winter storm warning. This is going to trail over the next couple of days. Well, I guess today and tomorrow. So today it's happening back in this region, right? That's what we're trailing right now. By the time tomorrow morning rises, you're going to see snow all the way up through North Carolina, Virginia, especially Virginia. Much of Virginia is under some type of winter weather alert for tomorrow. So it's going to go right up Virginia. Impacts a lot of Maryland, actually all of Delaware. Delaware's not that big, but still. And then a lot of portions of southeast Pennsylvania, as well as New Jersey, right? Areas up in the Northeast, maybe a little bit more used to snow, right? Areas like Pennsylvania and New Jersey are kind of used to those nor'easters. They get them a lot, so it's not terribly uncommon. I would expect winter storm watches to at least include New York City by tomorrow morning, by the time I wake up, depending on how the models trend. But a pretty wide area, like I said, well over 200 miles of winter storm expectations shortly after having potential tornado outbreaks. All right, we didn't have it, luckily, but you guys were live on the air yesterday with me when I was talking about tornado outbreak down south, and here we are right back today talking about winter storm watches in some of the same areas. We know this whole area right here where these winter storm watches and winter storm warnings are, were under a tornado watch yesterday. Down here, the yellow, that is your tornado watch currently in effect across Florida and Georgia and South Carolina, right? And then your oranges are your only two warnings out in reference to severe thunderstorms, right? So does anybody live in this area? Does anybody live in the winter storm watch and warning area all the way up through here? Be curious to know if anybody's in this region or not. Will there be snow in Thompson, Georgia? I have no idea where Thompson, Georgia is. Give me 1 second. I'll look it up, though. I don't think there will be snow in Thompson, Georgia. I think you guys are just going to get rain. You guys are a little further south of that winter storm watch. I think you're okay. Jefferson County, Tennessee. I think that's in the western portion. You guys should be getting snow. I think that's over here, isn't it? Somewhere right in here, west of Nashville. I gotta memorize my counties. Dark purple area. That's a good question. What is that dark purple area? That is a freeze warning. So that's another good one we can talk about. Temperatures are going to drop drastically, right? You have a pretty good system dipping like this, right? So anywhere in this area, you're going to get really cold temperatures over the next few days, okay? I know it's supposed to get like down to 10 degrees where I live tonight here in Indiana. It's supposed to get really, really cold. So areas in South Texas, right along the Mexican border, areas that aren't used to seeing super cold weather have been issued the freeze warnings. So what that means is it's going to get cold enough that your pipes could freeze, right? So if you don't know the rule, you turn on your faucet before you go to sleep, or leave it on all day, depending on how cold it is during the day too. But like tonight, I'm going to turn on my faucet. I'm going to let it drip. That way the water's always moving, so it doesn't have any time to freeze. So that's kind of what that warning is telling you. Like, hey, if you live in this area, make sure you bring in stuff that's shouldn't be froze, like plants, animals, people even, right? And then also make sure your pipes are running. That way you're not getting pipe bursts and stuff like that, or froze pipes. Greg says just now started snowing in Huntsville, almost 80 degrees yesterday. Significant change. Greg, do you own like any winter weather gear? Or have you is it just not something that people in Alabama have? I'm not from the South, so I have no idea. 27 degrees in San Antonio. Yeah, so in this region here, 27 degrees. That is freezing, or I guess it's further back. It's like over here somewhere. They were telling you guys 4 to 8 inches. It's possible. Right now they've kind of reduced it a little bit to 2 to 4, but I can see areas of 4 to 8 for sure. Yeah, so pipes don't burst. Absolutely. Green. Are you talking about over here on the East Coast? I think that's flood watch. Let me verify. Yeah, it's flood watch. You guys are under a flood watch or coastal flood warning. One of the two. No, that's not. That's too light. Yeah, it's a flood watch. So lots of heavy rain right south of that low pressure system right in here right now. And that's just going to trail up the northeast coast. So lots of flooding possible. If it isn't snowing, it's going to be raining. If you're anywhere in North Carolina, so lots of chances for some heavy snow uh, in North Carolina, the northern and western portion, and then also heavy rain as well. It's crazy. Rhode Island, yeah, okay, definitely, yeah. Rhode Island's it gets cold up there for sure. A lot of nor'easters too. Lots of snow. The weird weather sparked the absolute. That's a way to get into meteorology. Just the weird changes in weather, um, what it does. I always say that there's only a couple of things. Actually, I would say there's only one thing that affects a person every single day, right? And that's the weather. You can't do anything without the weather affecting you somehow, right? Going outside wearing a jacket, it's because of the weather. Sitting inside and turning on your AC, it's the weather, right? Anything you do, the weather is a part of in some way. Not literally, but most things that you do, the weather has a part in it. So it's pretty cool. That's how I got into weather. I got into weather too when we got hit by a real bad storm back in my home when I was a kid, and I just fell in love with it from there. Mainly like mesoscale, tornadic, hurricane type stuff. Not so much winter weather. I'm not a huge fan of the snow, but watching in San Antonio. Thanks, Josh, for being here. It's probably pretty chilly there, I'd imagine. Someone just said it was like 27 degrees in San Antonio. That's crazy. There is freeze warnings, part of that state right here. They're expecting it to get pretty chilly tonight, so make sure you're bundled up. Make sure your heaters are on. Better get right with Jesus. Yeah, hey, always get right with Jesus. Tornadoes in Thompson, Georgia. So I think that was. So you got Thompson, Georgia is right in this area. You got tornado watches to your southeast. I would say the tornado threat for that area is over now. Mainly, your biggest fear from here until tomorrow is that heavy rain corridor that's pushing right up through here. So you got your snow punching through here. You got your tornado watches and warnings. Well, it was tornado warnings, not warning anymore. Through here, and then you have your heavy rain corridor punching right across central Georgia into the Carolinas. I do have a Discord, yes. Let me see how I can. I'll tell you what. After I'm done with the live stream, I'll drop the link in the comments so you guys can, if you guys want to join the Discord. Different colors, yeah. So what do different colors mean? So you got your light purple here indicates a winter storm watch, meaning that they're expecting heavy snow or light to heavy snow in the area. Your pinks indicate winter storm warnings, areas that they know are going to get really heavy snow or ice. You got some greens over here that indicate flood watches. You have a tornado watch here in yellow, and then you have a freeze warning down here in southern Texas. A lot of colors happening on the east of the Mississippi. A lot of crazy stuff happening right now. Northeast Tennessee here, bring it at like a foot. Yeah. Hey, I wouldn't mind a foot. Like with me in snow, it's go big or go home, right? I don't like inch or two of snow. Like if you're gonna snow, just snow. Like I don't want to sit here and have to deal with slippery ground for an inch of snow. Like just Jeff's new to the stream. Hey, thanks for being here, Jeff. We just talk everything weather. I like to come on here whenever we got events going on, especially down at plate events, like things that aren't really escalated, but things that we can talk about. People can ask questions. I like to educate the public on meteorology and kind of let everybody know what everything means. Right now, we are tracking winter storm warnings across North Alabama, all the way up to the East Coast, as well as tornado watches back here. And we Haven't really had much tornadic activity today. I know that there was reports. Take that off the screen. I know that there was reports of. I just now realized I don't have my. So you guys haven't even been able to see what I've been circling, have you? But that's confusing. Okay. Now I have it screen shared so you can actually see me circling stuff. So you get your winter storm warnings and watches there. You have your flood watches here. You have your freeze watch here, and your tornado watch in yellow here. So a lot of different colors, a lot of different activity. Pennsylvania should be good. Pennsylvania should be fine. Shockingly, usually you guys get hit with snow during the big snow events, but not this time. Didn't mean to do that. Check radar real quick, make sure I'm not missing any tornado warnings. I'm not. For those who just tuning in, the big thing that I've been tracking is this heavy snow. Look at this. Look at this band of snow right now in Alabama and Tennessee. Big time snow right through here. Nashville, Huntsville, Alabama. That's the big one. We're in Alabama now. The areas like Florence, Alabama, right there, actually was under a tornado warning yesterday, or close to, like the area was. That's crazy. And then if you come back to the south and pull a Doppler radar from down here, you can see how far the south the snow is going. So you got snow all the way down through here. Tupelo, Mississippi, Columbus, Mississippi, even down to Tuscaloosa, Alabama. It's crazy. It's nonsense. All right, I am using radar scope. Would love this for Christmas. Yeah, that's always a bummer. Like I don't mind seeing some like snow on like Christmas. I don't like really traveling in snow, so I would prefer it not to. But when it's like 70 degrees outside on Christmas, it feels weird, and that's what it was this year for Indiana. It was like 65 for a high. It was crazy. The HUR is showing 8 to 12 inches consistently. Yeah, I think the HUR sometimes like to overperform too. This also depends on what ratio. 10-to-1 ratio on a 20-to-1 ratio event sometimes tough. I still don't really understand the ratios, but I know that you have to switch ratios and stuff like that. But I think the HUR sometimes nails it pretty good. I think it did pretty good with the Illinois event the other day. For the most part, from what I saw, it did pretty well. Byrdstown, Tennessee, Kentucky-Tennessee border. I think I know where that is. Somewhere right up in here. You guys are probably getting some snow right now. I don't know how far north this snow is actually going right now. It's going pretty north. So there's snow all the way up to the Kentucky-Tennessee border. Maybe even up towards Bowling Green. Guys, keep in mind, Bowling Green, Kentucky yesterday got hit by a tornado. There was tornado damage in Bowling Green yesterday. It is now snowing. It's crazy. And I've seen videos out of areas before, from like areas that got hit with tornadoes, and how the next day the tornado damage literally has snow on top of it. I've seen that before. I can't remember where. Usually that's a Midwest thing, because usually up in the Midwest you get tornado outbreaks and then you get a good snowstorm a couple days later. It's not usually a South thing. So that's why it's so bizarre. That's why I'm talking about it right now. Birmingham, Alabama. I think you are north of that. You're pretty close. I would say you're really close. So here's your winter storm watch. There is snow on radar that far south here, which I'll show you too, for those who live in central Alabama. Let's switch over to Birmingham radar. So here's your Birmingham area. You have snow draping all the way down to even maybe Demopolis in central Alabama, Tuscaloosa. This all, as the temperatures drop, this all can transition into snowfall, okay, in the Birmingham area. So as the temperatures lower, the rain freezes, right? Makes sense. And then it transitions to a snow because they can't freeze quick enough to become ice. Caden, thank you so much for the donation. Much love, guys. Let's see if I can answer any more questions here. DC could be 1 to 4 inches. I would say that's probably accurate. There are winter storm warnings out for that area. I think that's pretty close to DC right there. So find yourself on the map here. Let me zoom in a little bit. This is pretty far out. I thought it was zoomed in close enough, but it really isn't. This might be a little bit better. That better? You guys can see that a little bit better now, yeah? So here's your winter storm warnings going all the way up through the East Coast, and I think that's pretty close to Washington, D.C. If it's just barely off of it, I would expect 1 to 4 inches into the D.C. area. Madison County is snowing and accumulating. Which state? Space weather, yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's one thing that's never talked about as well, is space weather. If you guys don't know what space weather is, the National Weather Service actually has a space weather division, and they forecast like sun spots and things like that. They monitor the sun, so it's pretty cool, and that helps forecast like Northern Lights shows as well. And also shows like eclipses coming up and things like that. It's pretty cool. It's not really talked about a lot. Weather for Dalton, Georgia. It's kind of a mess right now down there. I don't know which part of Georgia Dalton, Georgia is in, but you have your winter storm watch and warnings up here in the northwest portion. And then you have your tornado watch back here to the southeast. So it really just depends on what portion of the state it's in. Huntsville. Okay. Huntsville is under a winter storm warning. You guys are probably going to start getting some pretty heavy snow as it transitions from rain to snow if you aren't already getting it. I will show you the radar for Huntsville so that you can see how bad it's coming down. So as the storm shifts east, Huntsville actually transitioning into that snowfall right now. So expect some pretty heavy accumulation. 1 inch per hour is what they're calling it for. And then anywhere from 2 to 4 inches. I saw someone ask for Johnson County, Tennessee. I can't remember where Johnson County. I think it's on the western portion of the state. Oops. And that's all winter storm watch right now. Pink is winter storm warning, but that could also mean ice, yes. So freezing rain or ice is capable anytime in a winter storm warning. It doesn't just have to be snow. Heavy snow, 29 degrees, Lawrenceburg, Tennessee, near the Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi tri-point. Okay, so right in this. Oh wait, no, he said Mississippi. Oh, back here. Yep, I believe it. It's in the winter storm watch for sure. Probably some heavy stuff coming down back there, or was anyway. Dalton is about 30 miles south of Chattanooga, so kind of in this region, yeah. So winter storm watches and warnings out for that area. Expect some heavy snow overnight as that system pushes toward the east. It's going to be weird if you're not used to snow. Yeah. Kesha says Georgia has snow, question mark. Yeah, it does. Shockingly, there are winter storm warnings in Georgia right now. What do I use to draw on the screen? It's called Epic Pen. EPICPEN. Epic Pen. Guilford County, North Carolina. I don't know. Kind of give me like a city in the area. Here's North Carolina. Here's a bad outline of it. And then winter storm warnings and watches along the west portion of the state, and then flood watches. Lots of heavy rain expected across central to eastern parts. Same with Fayetteville. Yeah, Fayetteville. Lots of heavy rain expected through the night and into tomorrow. Walker County, Alabama. Give me like a city, like the nearest big city. I'm not very good with counties. Counties are hard to follow, for me anyway. Polk County, Georgia, snow totals. Again, give me like a city, kind of like so I can get an idea. If you're up in this portion of the state, northwest, which I'm assuming you are because you're asking for snowfall totals, probably anywhere in the purple area, maybe like 1 to 2, 1 to 3 inches at most. And then if you're in the pink area, you're looking at more of 2 to 4, maybe as high as 5, just higher elevation. Durham, North Carolina. I missed it. The comment. Ask that question again. I missed it. There's a lot of comments rolling in now. Dark purple. If you're referring to down here in like Louisiana and Texas, that is a freeze warning, meaning that they are expecting cold weather in areas that aren't used to cold weather. So they're telling you to bring your plants inside, telling you to make sure your pipes are leaking a little bit so they don't freeze, stuff like that. Baltimore's in the house. Hart County, Georgia, just south of I-85 going into South Carolina. Okay. Let me pull up my Epic pen again here. So somewhere right in here, I'm assuming, you have a tornado watch down here in the southeastern portion of the state. And then you have a really heavy flooding potential through there. So it's possible to see some tornadoes depending on which portion of that state line you're at. If you're down here, you have threat of tornadoes. And if you're through here, it's really, really heavy rain, flooding potential. That is a flood watch out. Coleman, Alabama, a little bit further south. I think you're within that winter storm watch, potential for some snow tonight. Freezing temperatures being a big concern as well. Temperatures are going to drop. Thank you so much, Keith, for the donation. Absolutely. That's my big thing, is getting involved with the chat, right? I know you guys watch probably a lot of videos on YouTube of other meteorologists talking online, and they just don't really answer your questions. I like to answer questions. I like to look at the chat. I like to chat with people who are interested. That's my go-to. Charlottesville, Virginia, snow totals and accumulation. Man, there's a lot of snow coming towards Virginia. I'm not exactly sure on snowfall totals. Let's go ahead and switch over to pivotal weather so that I can see totals, because that's one thing people are asking me and I really should be looking. We'll pull up her model, and that way I can get you guys a better idea on what is happening. Actually, we'll pull up Zero Zulu and go a little bit past. Go like this. Just bear with me here. I'm going to pull up some totals for you guys. Slide on over, slide on down. Actually, let's go zoom in a little bit on the East Coast. I'm so far zoomed in that I can't. Okay. So here are your snowfall totals through tonight, potentially. This is not confirmed. Through tomorrow night. Okay. So we know that the snow is coming down pretty good back here. Higher elevations, you're seeing little pockets of pink, and those higher elevations getting 5 inches or so, which is expected. If you're a little bit lower, you're looking at only maybe like 3.6 inches, 3 to 5, kind of that area, which is accurate. You can see the areas of higher elevations getting those higher amounts all the way up through. So it really just depends on how far off sea level you are. But areas like Virginia, potential for a lot of snow. These probably aren't dead accurate. These are pushing 13, 14 inches. That's a foot of snow. I've seen a couple people saying that local meteorologists are calling for about 10 inches. I would say that's about right. Anywhere in here, I would say 8 to maybe 10 inches. In that region, that's the best I can do with the 8 using my mouse, but 8 to 10 inches probably in this little corridor, to include much of central to northern Virginia, Delaware, Maryland, things like that. What is the tan color? Oh, on the hazards? That's actually a good question. I think it's yeah, because that's like a brown, isn't it? Looks like a wind advisory or a high wind watch. One of those two. I tell you what, it's just, I can't click on it. We're going to find out. It is a wind advisory. Interesting. Okay. So there's a wind advisory out across portions of Georgia, Florida, southern Alabama, and South Carolina, there is a wind advisory. Also, probably just the approaching cold front is creating lots of wind, because that cold front's about right yonder. It's making its run towards the East Coast, and usually any type of front like that will bring lots of wind. Okay, let me get back to comments here so I can answer you guys' comments. Jasper, what state? Alexander City, Alabama. Let me Google here. Let me see what we got. Okay, north of Montgomery. So kind of north of Montgomery and northwest of Columbus. So probably kind of in this area. Probably just scattered snow showers. I don't know if you guys are in that winter storm watch or not. I can't really tell. But if you're close, you could see some snow tonight. Temperatures will drop as that cold front gets away from you, which it should already have. So it should be pretty chilly there by now. So you have the chance for snowfall if you live anywhere in that region of Alabama. Probably not a lot, probably only like 1 to 3 inches. And I'm talking more like 1 inch. Swedesboro, New Jersey. New Jersey. Southern half of New Jersey. Right here's the like literally like dead center, split in half. Winter storm warnings in effect. And then I didn't close out of that. Go back over to snowfall totals. Pretty heavy snowfall totals on the Her. I would say probably anywhere from 8 inches or more in that region for portions of New Jersey. Jasper, was it Jasper, Georgia? I saw. Let's see. Jasper, Georgia. I'm about to study a map tonight. So that's the northern portion of Georgia. So you guys are out of that tornado threat, but you're tucked inside that. Wow, that got big. You're tucked inside that winter storm watch, winter storm warning crap going on. So the potential for some heavy snow anywhere across northern Georgia, but mainly probably in that area 2 to 4 inches. I would expect higher elevation, probably some more. So if you live up in a mountain or something, expect a little bit more, probably closer to 5 inches. At least that's what the forecast models are kind of hinting at, but I'm just looking at. So you can see here, North Georgia, you're looking at obviously you go from 1 inch to 5 inches randomly, right? Well, that's not true if you're on sea level. You got 1 inch at sea level, but if you're up in the mountains, you get about closer to 6 inches. So it really just depends. It's hard to forecast snowfall totals in this area of the country because of the mountains. Oh, okay, Jasper, Alabama. Okay, we have another Jasper. Lots of Jaspers. We have a Jasper, Indiana, too. Jasper, Alabama. Kind of the same story for you. Northwest of Birmingham, you're in a winter storm watch. So kind of in this region here. Winter storm watch, I guess maybe a little bit further south, probably closer over here. But there are winter storm watches out in that area, so expect maybe a little blanket of snow. Nothing terribly heavy, but just a light blanket. Louisville should not be getting any snow. Should be fine there in Louisville. It's going to be cold. It's going to be cold up here. But you're south of that winter storm, or you're north of that winter storm watch, so you should be okay. Yeah, Delaware as well. Delaware, actually all of the state of Delaware is under a winter storm watch or warning. Probably going to be all winter storm warning by tomorrow, I'd imagine. Knoxville, Tennessee. Yep, kind of the same thing. Knoxville over here. Winter storm warning, winter storm watches. Knoxville's kind of in those mountains too. So depending on where you're at, if you're a little bit lower, probably looking at 4 inches, maybe a little bit more. If you're in those mountains, you could get anywhere up to maybe 8 inches in that region. It's also important, guys, to get a little bit more detailed information. You can also look up your local National Weather Service office. They always do a great job at pinpointing snowfall totals. A lot of your TV meteorologists will kind of go out there and try to get you guys more accurate totals, but there's not any better accuracy than the National Weather Service office So I tend to go through them as well. But there's so many different people in here from different areas. I'm not going to pull everybody's NWS office up. I'm just going to kind of get an idea of what you're looking at without giving you guys too much hype. Raining good in Augusta, Georgia. Yeah, for sure. You guys getting a lot of rain over there. Watch for flooding. Be careful driving on the roads. You never know. You might come up on a flooded roadway and not even be able to see it, especially at night. Johnson City, Tennessee. Y'all going to make me study geography tonight. I'm going to know where all these areas are. I can tell you that. Way up there in the corner of the state. Johnson City. Well within that winter storm warning. You guys are going to get hit pretty good with some snow tonight through tomorrow. So bundle up. If you got to go to work tomorrow, be safe. Areas like Illinois, all across the Midwest here, it's going to be pretty dead for a little bit. It's going to be quiet. There's not going to be much going on. However, a lot of long-range models, and I say long-range, we don't really rely on long-range that much until it gets a little bit closer and then become mid-range, but are hinting at maybe some heavy snow in this region of the country about the second week of January. So we'll see. I'm trying to read quickly because everybody's wind advisory for Charleston, South Carolina. I believe it. Yeah, here's your wind advisories. Also a flood watch tucked in there as well. Charleston might not be in that, but there's a flood watch across the center portion of South Carolina. Carrollton, Georgia. Let's see. Carrollton, Georgia, southwest of Atlanta. You're cutting it pretty close. You're kind of in this region. I would say probably not a lot of snow down there, but definitely some wind happening. I'm sure you're feeling it by now. That cold front should be passing over you if it's not already past you. So you're going to feel a decent drop in temperature there in Carrollton if you aren't already. But it'll probably be pretty chilly tomorrow for that area. I'm assuming probably 50s or 40s down there. All right, let me get back over here. Philadelphia. Somewhere right in here. I think you guys are going to dodge some of the heaviest snowfall. I don't think you guys are going to get hit terribly with snow. Probably be a little chilly, but for the most part, unless those totals start to kind of maybe slide up to the north a little bit, they come up north a little bit, then you guys could see some action. It really just depends on tomorrow morning's runs. Lexington, Kentucky, kind of the same thing, right and tucked in here. You're north of the winter storm watches and warnings. So I don't really expect to see much snow. You might get a little bit of, drizzles of snowflakes. Wouldn't be shocked. Let's see. Fredericksburg, Virginia. Yeah, Virginia's a state that's really covered. For as big as the state is, 98% of it is covered in winter storm advisories, watches, or warnings of some kind. So you guys could really get hit good right through the center part of the state. Some heavy snow potential, and it's likely because they have the winter storm warnings out. And then anywhere kind of maybe in the southern portion, you're looking at winter storm watches only. But that can still bring some heavy snow. Northeast Alabama, same thing. Winter storm warnings happening right now. Probably expect to see some heavy snowfall here. We'll actually pull it back over the radar real quick so I can show you guys. So here's your heavy snow right now happening in northern Alabama to central Tennessee. Pockets of probably 1 inch per hour rates right in the dark blues. Those are pushing east. We have a warning out here. Okay. It's transitioning. Okay, so you got rain up ahead, but you have colder temperatures back here. So it's probably where your front is, and it's transitioning to snow back here. So you can kind of see on radar how it's happening. If I put it in motion, you can see the snow kind of taking over the rain. You see how where the blue is starting to cover the green? That's because temperatures are falling, and it's able to transition a little bit better now. Snowfall really coming down in Huntsville right now. Let's see. Yeah, there's tornadoes earlier across Georgia, Florida. There were tornado warnings out earlier. I couldn't go live. I was busy. If you guys haven't subscribed or anything yet, please do. Also, if you guys have not watched my new greatest storms of 2021 video yet, it was just uploaded earlier. It's pretty cool. It just kind of follows myself and my team tracking down the greatest storms of the year that we saw. Watching from Central Illinois. Thanks, Mary. Thanks for being here. Snowing in Macomb. I think I know where that is because I've been there. I recognize the name somewhere down in here, right? I know it's somewhere over there, but they're saying it is snowing. Is it coming down bad or is it pretty? Or is it just pretty weak right now? Lots of heavy snow definitely falling across the northern portions of the state right now, of Alabama, and then into Tennessee. Let me get back to answering some questions here for you guys. Will there be a chance of tornadoes in South Carolina tonight? There is a tornado watch in South Carolina, indicated by the yellow on the map here. This is the tornado watch, but it's extreme southeastern portions of the state. So if you just happen to be in one of those three counties, you have a threat for tornadoes. But if you're outside of it, probably not so much. These storms are kind of pushing east. They should be impacting, kind of like driving towards the Atlantic. I don't think they're on a northeast movement. They are a little bit, but I wouldn't be terribly worried for tornadoes in South Carolina unless you live within that tornado watch. It is snowing in Columbus, Mississippi. Okay. So back, I got to remember where Columbus, Mississippi is. I know I'm recognizing all the names that you guys are saying, but I just don't remember exactly what portion of the state they're in. Okay, so that's the eastern portion. Okay, so they're reporting snowfall coming down back in here, this portion of the state in Mississippi. So lots of snow all over the place here. Oh, I see it now, right there. So let's pull up radar back here from Mississippi. There's Columbus. Definitely some mixed precipitation happening in there. A line of snow there right behind the main show. And then we were tracking heavy snowfall all the way south towards the Gulf. It looks like maybe it's transitioning back to rain here. It was all the way down here at one point, kind of the Choctaw County, Alabama area down towards Laurel, but it looks like it's weakened out a little bit. It's more rain than anything across Tuscaloosa. It's crazy though. Like this area all in through here was under that significant tornado threat yesterday. It didn't pan out like we expected it to, which is good. But now there's winter storm warnings in the same areas there were tornado warnings yesterday. It's crazy. I know there was a couple tornadoes reported up in North Alabama, southern Tennessee. Those areas are getting hit pretty good with snow now. There was a tornado that hit Bowling Green again yesterday. That's 2 in the month of or I guess yesterday wasn't December. 2 in the last month for Bowling Green, Kentucky, or that area at least. Hopkinsville got hit by a tornado yesterday in Kentucky, and those areas are under winter storm watches and are getting hit with snow. It's crazy. Yeah, it's funny, but it's not funny. Yeah, like imagine living in this area, being under a tornado watch yesterday, and it's 80 degrees outside, and now it's like 25 and snowing really heavy. It's crazy. I appreciate you guys. I really do. All you guys make this page go. You make my day. Thank you guys so much for being here. Make sure you guys subscribe. If it's your first time here, we cover. If it's your first time here, this isn't something I usually do. I don't usually cover winter weather, but there's nothing else going on. Usually, if there's a live stream, it's because I'm driving next to a tornado. I typically do my work from the road. I'm a big time traveler, chasing storms all the time, but there's nothing happening right now. So we're going to go into this couple of months where you're probably not going to get very many tornadoes or anything to really cover. So we'll be doing a lot of live streaming on big time snow events, as well as random tornado outbreaks. 82 yesterday in Macomb, and yeah, exactly. It's it's like a 50-degree temperature difference between yesterday and today for a lot of these areas. Yeah, I can understand being scared of snow, especially if you've never really dealt with it. Areas in like Georgia, you guys don't deal with snow that often. Maybe in higher elevations, but the amount of snow that's forecasted across this area, you guys aren't really used to it. So if it's your first time driving in snow, or maybe you'd only drive in it once a year, just drive slow, be careful, don't underestimate it. Jefferson, Georgia. Let me check Jefferson, Georgia. Where's that at? That is northeast of Atlanta. So you guys got a lot of rain coming down over there right now, I think. Let me pull up Atlanta radar. So you got some rain coming down in the area. Nothing extreme, just lots of heavy rain, pockets of heavy rain. There's not going to be any tornadoes or anything in that area. But however, we do know that there's a lot of flood watches going on right through this region, all the way up through South Carolina into North Carolina. So make sure you're careful driving, because there will be parts of the roadway that are a little bit difficult to drive on. Come back over towards Huntsville, where the heavy snow is falling right now. It's really ramping up big time across North Alabama. This whole area is really getting going with snow. Probably some good stuff happening in Huntsville right now. I wonder if Brad's out chasing or covering it. Oh, cool. Brad is out covering it. So Brad's out covering the snow right now, which is my chase partner. He lives in Huntsville, so it's kind of convenient for him. So let's go and hop over to Brad's live stream. Look at that snow coming down. That's Huntsville, Alabama right now. Come on, computer. Give me 1 second, guys. Stop asking questions for 1 second. I don't have my screen up. Ding. The computer runs so slow when it's trying to operate live. Stormchasing.com. Okay. Oh, I definitely spelled that wrong. So what you're seeing is oh my goodness, come on. You're seeing a live storm chaser in Huntsville, Alabama. He is covering the heavy snow that is impacting the region right now. It looks like he is, I can't tell, he's on the interstate, obviously, but he's definitely getting it pretty good right now. You can see by I call it the Star Wars effect, when you're driving in the snow, how it gives you those white dashes. I call it the Star Wars effect, because it looks like you're in, like, I don't know, just a nerd in me, I guess. Okay, let me ask some questions here while we watch Brad's live stream. Heavy snow in Nashville. Okay, so lots of heavy snow coming down in the Music City. All the way up. That's good population, so probably a lot of people out on the road right now. I guess it's 10:30, well, 9:30 Central Time. Yeah, wind gust in Georgia. Yeah, there's some pretty decent wind advisories out across the state, so potential for some decently good winds ahead of that cold front. So just put anything away that you don't want blown away. Canton, Georgia. Let me figure it out here. Canton, Georgia, north of Atlanta. Yeah. I think you guys are right in that sweet spot in Canton, Georgia, where you're probably not going to see very much snow, but you're definitely not going to see any tornadoes. So you're probably going to get a lot of heavy rain. maybe mixed precipitation as well. So every now and then you get a little flake in those rain showers, but nothing like huge. That's going to be terribly concerning for you guys in the Atlanta area. Just started raining in Cartersville, Georgia. Okay. Yeah, all of Georgia, Ackworth, Georgia. See where you're at. Again, yeah, Atlanta area, kind of the same thing as that other town I just talked about. Kind of in that sweet spot. Probably some pretty decent rain that's going to come down for the most part. But nothing significant. No tornadoes and no huge snowfall potential, but lots of rain. Probably some flooding. What you guys are watching right now, if you're just tuning in, we are watching Brad Arnold, who is my chase partner, good friend of mine. He is in Huntsville, Alabama, where the heaviest snowfall seems to be falling about right now. Anywhere from Huntsville to Nashville, probably the area of heaviest snowfall coming down right now. Chesterfield, Virginia. All of Virginia has a pretty good chance at seeing some heavy snowfall today, or tonight into tomorrow too. So that's up near the Richmond area. I'm pretty sure that's under the winter storm warning. So definitely going to be some heavy snowfall in that region. Looks like we lost his feed for a second. We'll cut back over to radar until we get his feedback. So here's that heavy snowfall. So he's in Huntsville, which is right here. Make sure you guys can see that. Yep. In Huntsville, he's covering the snowfall there, and then just lots of snow impacting this entire area all the way up through Nashville. Someone commented and said that Nashville is getting hit pretty good. So I can't believe he lost service. That's actually shocking. We'll go back over to the hazards here so you guys can see where all the winter storm warnings and watches are out right now. Let me catch up on comments real quick. Hang on. All right. Yeah, there's tornado watches out. Will Louisville, Kentucky get any snow? So for the most part, Gina, you're north of that winter storm watch threat. So I would say no. Probably going to get a pretty good chill down though. Probably get a little chilly, but no snow for the most part. Just started raining in Canton, Georgia. Okay, yep. So right in this region, that's pretty much your biggest threat. Also some wind too. There are wind advisories out. So lock up anything you don't want blown away. Okay, so it's a dusting in Southern California, Southern Illinois. Man, it's already that late, isn't it? So Southern Illinois getting some dusting of snow. So that's just north of those winter storm watches. So that means anywhere probably north in this region of those winter storm watches, you could see a dusting of snow. I usually give it about a 50-mile radius or so. Let me see if his live stream's back up yet. Nope. Let me refresh. Looks like we lost Brad. He might be done for the night. Might be going home. Nope, there he is. We got him. Brad's back, guys. It's nice having Brad up because then I can just answer questions while he's showing you guys what's going on. He is in Huntsville, Alabama, where you can see some pretty heavy snow coming down. Definitely they're not used to that. Charlotte, North Carolina. There are winter storm warnings out for the extreme western portion of the state, winter storm watches as well. But for the most part, North Carolina has a flooding problem tonight and tomorrow. Like Brad's just driving in circles. The good thing is, if you look at the live stream, there's not a lot of people out. Looks like Brad is the only one on the road. And if you've ever been to Huntsville, Alabama, that's not very common. Usually there are people everywhere. The place is busy. It's one of the biggest cities, actually probably the biggest city in the state of Alabama. So the fact that there's nobody on the road is a good sign. It means people are taking those winter storm warnings serious and they're staying home. But lots of heavy snow coming down. He needs to turn on his windshield wipers. He's got really good tires. Yeah, I drive his vehicle for him when we go tornado chasing. Me and him team up. I drive because I just feel more comfortable. He's got really good tires, brand new tires on his Tahoe. So he's gonna be just fine in that winter weather. Yes, it will be windy in Atlanta, Georgia. Wind advisories are out for that area. Probably not like super windy, but windy. Northern Maryland, could this shift north? I was just saying earlier, Noah, that the potential for a north shift is there. I really don't know though. It really just depends on when I wake up how far the low pressure system went north. If it did a little northern rise, then yes, absolutely. If it stays on its track, the winter storm warnings will stay in the southern portion of Maryland. I don't think there's going to be snow in Houston, no. But it's going to get cold. It's going to get cold. There are freeze warnings out for that area, but no, snow, probably not. I'm not saying he's going to crash with brand new tires, my guy. He just asked how good the tires are. How many inches are going to be in Dalton, Georgia? What part of Dalton? What part of Georgia is that? I think someone else asked him. Oh, I put New York, not Georgia. There we go. So it depends on where you're at compared to elevation. If you're in like lower elevation, probably just an inch or two. If you're in a higher elevation, you could get as high as maybe like 5 inches. It really just depends. If you, like I said earlier, if you live in the mountains, then it's different. No, probably no snow in Florida. That's too far south. That'd be crazy. But a little bit too far south. There is a tornado watch just north of Florida, but snow is not expected. Is that line rolling across South Georgia going to be severe? Yes, it has the potential to be severe. That is the tornado watch storms. So a brief tornado or two shouldn't be ruled out on those storms. I am monitoring them. I am watching them. For now, they're just kind of containing some heavy winds. Isolated 75 mile per hour greater also possible, but for the most part, just a wind threat, 60 miles per hour, maybe some hail. But you want to keep your eyes open for the potential for tornadoes in that line as well with that tornado watch. Asheville would love snow. Yeah. Yeah. I hear that a lot. People like just want snow, I'm just like the complete opposite. I'm not a fan of snow at all. I'm just like, nope, you guys can take anywhere else can take it. I don't want snow, but I will drive 2 hours to cover it though. I just don't want it at my house, if that makes any sense at all. Probably doesn't, but I'm trying to keep up with the comments. North Texas, it's going to get chilly. It's going to get real chilly for that area anyway. I know that there were temperatures in the teens expected across Oklahoma and all the way through North Texas. So it's going to get chilly, but I don't think there'll be any snow or anything. Is the storm looking bad for the morning time North Carolina, South Carolina? There are winter storm warnings up and down portions of the western half of those states. But for the most part, flooding would be the concern. Lots of rain and a drop. Do I think the snow will stick in North Georgia? Yeah, I think it'll stick. It probably won't last long because traffic and whatnot will kind of just disappears. You know how that works. But it depends. If you're in higher elevations, it definitely will stick. If you're in lower elevations and you only get an inch or so, it won't be that big of a deal. So those who are just tuning in, we're following Brad Arnold, courtesy of LivestormChasing.com and Live Storms Media. He is in Huntsville, Alabama, and he is tracking the heavy snow. Looks like he's just driving around, showing everybody how it looks. But you can see that's Alabama. Definitely not an area used to seeing snow, and they are getting a good amount of it. Looks like maybe probably 2 inches on the ground already there, and it's still coming down pretty good. Just first glance. I'm not there, so I really can't tell, but I would say that's 2 inches at least. And they're expected to get anywhere from 2 to 4. So, yeah. So tornado watch means that the potential for tornadoes is there, but it does not mean there's a tornado currently happening. Tornado warning means a tornado is actually occurring or could occur any second. But tornado watch just means a general area, be on the lookout type of deal. Someone made a diagram a couple of years ago. It was like a cupcake watch. Like if you have all your ingredients for your cupcake on the counter, but it's not made yet, that's a cupcake watch. And if you once you make the cupcake, that's a cupcake warning. It's kind of a smart way to interact and get the idea out for people who don't understand it. All right, so we'll come back to Brad here in a second. Let's go back to radar. Oop, clicked on the wrong thing. Back to radar. Show you guys where he's at compared to this heavy snow, right? North Alabama, really good amount of snow coming down. Looks like Nashville's still in it, so Nashville's probably still thinking. Do you think North Georgia will get moderate to heavy snow? Probably, maybe moderate snow, but not. I don't want to say heavy. Let's go back to here, and then I'll pull up. So North Georgia, extreme North Georgia, where these winter storm warnings are at, that's the heavy snow region. Anywhere right in here in the purple is your moderate snowfall risk right through here. Here's your heavy snowfall in the pink. Purple is your moderate. And anything south of that is wind advisories, and then the tornado watch right here, which should be expiring in the next 20 minutes or so. So that tornado threat's kind of getting out of the way. No problem, Andy. Oh, where'd that question go? The cold air is not quite there yet. So out ahead where these tornado watches, that's out in front of the cold front. So the cold front hasn't quite caught up yet. That's why the tornado potential still exists. It's still decently warm, and the dew points are still there. Back like over here is where your cold front is. So that's why there's tornadoes out in front of it. If the cold front was over here, you wouldn't have tornadoes. And you wouldn't even have a tornado watch right now. Okay, no snow in Pennsylvania yet. Giles getting snow. Giles, what state? Let's go back and see what Brad's doing. Any chance of the snow going any more south? Probably not, depending on what state you're in. If you're in Alabama, probably not. If you're in Georgia, probably not. As for like the Northeast, it really just depends which path the low pressure system wants to take. If it wants to stick on its path, then it will stick exactly where the forecast is expected to. But if it does a little bit of a south drop, yes, north drop, it could go north as well. Really just depends. It's really hard to forecast winter weather. That's why it's really hard to get into people's heads that sometimes it's so difficult that it's never going to be accurate. Do I think the snow lasts until 10 a.m. for where? Teresa says temperatures are in 53 in Fredericksburg, Virginia. Okay, so that means the cold front hasn't quite caught up there yet. It will, though. Someone asked me earlier, do they even plow in like Georgia and Alabama? I have no idea. If you're from Alabama or Georgia, do they even plow snow down there? Like, do they have trucks with snow plows? Like, is that a common thing? I'm sure they do, but how often do you see them? Like I haven't seen. We've been watching Brad for 30 minutes now. I haven't seen one plow truck. I'm just assuming they kind of play the meteorology method and just let it melt on its own. No, Brad is going to stay in North Alabama. That's where he lives. So I don't see him driving to Georgia. But he's in Huntsville right now. That's probably where he'll stay. You can see how bad the ramps are. This ramp is completely covered with snow. Fortunately, we've been watching a stream for about 30 minutes now, and I haven't seen a single car in a ditch or wrecked or anything. So people in Alabama are doing a really good job being cautious. No, but they salt or sand the roads. Okay. So just salt trucks then. They don't actually like go out with plows or anything. Okay, so Jim says they salt trucks and plows in that his portion of Georgia. So it really probably just depends where you're from. What county does what, you know? They probably just some places plow, some places don't. It probably just depends on where you're from, I guess. Here's Radar again. So right here's Brad in Huntsville. He's getting it the worst right now. And then that snow extends all the way up to include Nashville. And what's happening is you get this green here. This is probably the cold front right here. And this green is ahead of the cold front. So that's why it's still raining. Back here where the temperature is dropping, excuse me, you have snow. Gotta make sense, right? We can actually pull up the Storm Prediction Center and see if it'll show us right where the front is. Let's see here. Okay, so the front's a little bit further southeast than anticipated. Oops, I definitely clicked the wrong thing there. So right here's the cold front. Okay, extends down through the Gulf of Mexico, and then it pushes up through Virginia right now. Okay, so someone who said that the temperature was still 53 there in Virginia, you're probably getting ready to drop. That cold front's approaching you pretty quickly here. So this blue line right here is your cold front. So that cold front extends down here. Right here's where your active severe thunderstorms are happening, and it's out in front of that that cold front. Maybe a little bit of a warm front right here, but that'll probably dissipate, and that's why you have your triple point right here where your severe thunderstorms are located. That makes complete sense. But that cold front is advancing to the southeast, so these storms will die off as they get close to the Atlantic. As this cold front goes this way, that's when your snow back here, that's happening back here in Alabama in this region, is going to move up the East Coast. It's only a matter of time. Charlotte, what state? I think somebody already asked that. If North Carolina, Charlotte, I don't know where Charlotte, North Carolina is. Somewhere like right in here. That cold front is going to advance to the southeast, and eventually they'll bring snow. There are winter storm warnings out for the area. Thank you so much, Shelby, for the donation. How about Cartersville, Northwest Georgia? Should I wrap pipes? Cartersville, Northwest Georgia. The cold front has passed you, if it's anywhere in this area. So it's probably going to be getting a little chilly. Let me check surface observations on my phone. I don't want to pull that up on my, so that I can give you a better. What was that town name again? Let me go back up and find it. Cartersville. Okay, Cartersville. Let me pull. So that temperature is starting to drop now. Still looks like it's in the 50s just based on surface obs. But it'll drop probably down to low 30s in that area. So I would, because it's right at the freezing line, I would take any precautions you can. It doesn't hurt because it will get into the low 30s here tonight, and that's cold. It's at the freezing level. So, and then with that wind that you guys are expected to get right behind that cold front, it could make it even colder. So you want to be careful with that. I would say probably in the upper 20s. So that's definitely cold enough to wrap your body. No problem, Shelby. You're welcome. 2 weeks of rain in California every day. It's all going east. Yeah, you guys have a weird weather pattern going on right now out there in Cali. It's just been raining over and over and over again. Even Los Angeles, an area that's sunny all the time, had rain for a few days in a row out there. Crazy stuff. Columbus, what state? Georgia. If you're talking about Georgia, I want to wait till you answer. No Columbus, just rain. If I don't see your question, just like copy and paste, and just keep doing that until they answer it. Because there's so many comments come in, I sometimes miss it. Try to keep it as short as possible too. I don't have a lot of time to answer questions, like long questions. I might miss it. 72 degrees in Savannah. That'll change probably once that cold front reaches you guys. It'll drop a little bit. Roanoke, Virginia. Okay, yes, Columbus, Georgia. So kind of down in this area, that cold front pushing down. It's going to be a little chilly, but mostly rain is expected. Roanoke, I think that's pretty close to that winter storm warning. I think you guys are somewhere over here, right? So very close. The chance for snow does exist in Roanoke. I don't know how much exactly, but it does exist. Can the snow stick at 38 degrees? Great question. It just depends on how cold the actual ground is. Your air temperature, it yes, that plays a factor. But I don't know if you've ever felt like if you've ever put your hand on your car in the morning, your car might be significantly colder than the actual air temperature, and so it really just depends. But if it's 38 degrees and the ground surface temp is 25, absolutely it can stick. But it just depends because 38 is above freezing too. So you have to think, are the snowflakes big enough to get to the ground to even begin with? If they're not, they'll melt as they make contact with the surface. If it's really cold with air aloft, those flakes could be really big and they could be big enough to hit the ground and actually stay there. How many inches do I think for Bristol, Virginia? The entire state of Virginia is under some type of winter weather ordeal. Let's get my pen here. So here's Virginia. So this entire area in Virginia is winter storm warning. So lots of snow potential, probably 6 inches or greater, probably closer to 8 to 10 in that area tonight, tomorrow. So lots and lots of snow. Winter storm watches also exist almost all the way down to the Atlantic coast. So anywhere, I think the whole state will at least see some type of snowfall. If I were a betting man in central Virginia, I would say probably 8 to 10 inches with some maybe isolated totals closer to a foot. That's a good question as well, Jose. At what exact temperature does snow start to form? Honestly, I don't even really know that. I don't really study snow that much. I would say probably the freezing line, just because it has to be at least freezing temperature for snow to even form in most cases. But I don't know the exact temperature behind it. I don't really study winter weather meteorology that often. I'm more of a tornado and hurricane type of person, but I need to study more for sure. I just know the basics, but that's a good question. I could probably Google it or ask somebody that maybe knows. Yeah, so 32 degrees. Yeah, I just Googled it. It'll snow at temperatures as long as the air in the troposphere is cold enough. If it's cold enough aloft, you can get snowflakes, and if they're big enough, they will fall no matter if it's 35 or 40 degrees outside. Whether they stick or not, that's a different question. Where am I located? I'm in Indiana, in the Midwest. Why does snowflakes form instead of just a hailstone? Great question. So it's kind of reversed, right? So when hail forms, it's because you get colder air aloft and you get an updraft in a severe thunderstorm that creates suspension of rain, right? So when it's colder up here and warmer down here, what happens is those hailstones in the updraft get caught in the clouds, and those raindrops become little balls of ice. And then finally, when they get heavy enough, the gravity will take over and they'll fall as hail. It's kind of the other way around with snow, right? It's colder up there and it's cold up the surface. So the snowflakes, it's warmer up there, colder at the surface. And so the snowflakes, instead of dropping as rain, they freeze on their way down. And that's what creates snowflakes or freezing rain, depending on what the temperature is at the surface. But hailstones are kind of cool to study because hail, depending on the stronger updraft, it depends on the size of the hail, right? So if you get storms that have a significant updraft, they can actually hold those hailstones longer in the clouds. And then finally, gravity will just take over from there and they'll fall. That's why those big, like out in Nebraska and everything, when storms have incredible updrafts, those hailstones can be huge, like tennis ball size hail. Maryland, yes, under looks like much of Maryland is under that winter storm warning and winter storm watch for tomorrow. Lots of snow potential, 8 to 10 inches, probably isolated more, but probably 8 to 10 inches is the main threat. Casey's in the chat now. Good, Casey. Casey's my moderator. Casey, we got some weird chats coming in. If you want to take care of that for me. Eastern Tennessee. Darla asking Eastern Tennessee. Yeah. Winter storm warnings all up and down Eastern Tennessee, especially in the mountains. Lots of snowfall expected up there in higher elevation. But for the most part, still lots of snow expected tonight through tomorrow morning and probably into tomorrow afternoon as well. If you guys are not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Okay, cool, Casey. Thanks. Could a tornado form in a snowstorm? Not a traditional tornado. Like a traditional tornado is, a column of air that comes from underneath a supercell thunderstorm. For the most part, you can get things like snownados, which I know is a really like silly name, but it's like when the wind is just right to get portions of snow to twirl. I've seen videos of them. I've never personally seen one, but it's very similar to like a dust devil. In like dusty areas out west, you can get a lot of dust devils. You can get the same thing for snow as well. It's a little bit harder because snow is more dense. It's a little bit heavier, so it's harder to get snow to kind of start spinning a little bit together. But you can definitely get it. I've seen it before. Will it cause damage? Probably not. I've seen dust devils do damage before. Just really depends on how worked up they are. So if you're just now tuning in, I know I'm kind of just sitting here talking. If you're just now tuning in, you've never been to yeah, for sure, Boiler Up. I like that. I'm from West Lafayette, so I'm a huge Purdue fan. But if you're just now tuning in, we have winter storm watches in effect all the way up from Mississippi, all the way up through the East Coast to New Jersey, about 300 miles worth. And then winter storm warnings from North Alabama all the way up as well to New Jersey. We are following along with my friend storm chasing in Huntsville. His service is in and out right now. He is tracking the snowfall there in North Alabama, where it's coming down. One of the hardest areas that is coming down right now. Storm prediction for upstate South Carolina. Rain for the most part. Lots of heavy rain tonight, tomorrow. Flash flooding, very likely. There's a flood watch out across much of that region. What does the yellow and orange mean? Oh, that was the tornado watch. It was yellow. And the orange was an active severe thunderstorm warning, if you're referring to the Georgia yellow. Somerset County, Kentucky. Name a town in there. Just like the closest town to you, and then I'll Google it so I know where it is. Franklin, North Carolina. Let's check it out here. So some pretty decent snow expected in Franklin, North Carolina. You guys are in that winter storm warning. Danville, Kentucky. You guys are in that storm warning for Franklin, North Carolina. So be prepared for some heavy snow, kind of what you're seeing on the screen right now. This is the same system that's coming up towards you. Danville, Kentucky. Probably we'll see some snow showers. Nothing extreme. Probably about what's on your screen right now is probably the most that you guys would see if it gets that much. You're looking at about 2 inches on the screen right now from Storm Chaser Brad Arnold. But for the most part, no, tornado watch was in the yellow. There's no tornado warning out right now. I don't think. No, there's no tornado warnings out right now. Hasn't been tornado warning out in about an hour and a half to 2 hours now. 15 minutes from Gatlinburg. Yeah, you guys are going to see some really good snow. I would love to be in Gatlinburg right now. I heard it's just beautiful up there when it's snow falling. Jacksonville and what state? Southern Delaware, absolutely lots of heavy snow expected for you guys. All of Delaware is under some type of winter storm warning or watch. Lots of heavy snow expected out there tomorrow. What's up, Hunter, man? Thanks for being here, buddy. Storm Chaser Hunter Smith in the chat is a good guy, good storm chaser as well. He's up and coming. So definitely give him some love as well if you guys are into. I think he's from, remind me, Hunter, I think you're from Arkansas? I might be wrong there. But yes, Delaware, lots of snow coming. Same with Baltimore, Maryland, lots of snow expected. We're talking 8 to 10 inches is what National Weather Service meteorologists are calling for. Probably some isolated foot, depending on how high up in elevation you are. Mocksville, North Carolina. Let me do some research here. You guys are kind of in that odd area. Mocksville, North Carolina is. I would say probably more of a rain chance than snow, but I could see mixed precipitation in there. So you might see snow and rain coming down at the same time because it's really close to where those winter storm watches are, but it's also where those flood watches are as well. So really close, really tough area there. I would say you're probably going to get more rain than snow, but don't rule out maybe an inch in that area. Delaware, how much can we hope for? Yeah, Delaware. I was just answering somebody else's question from Delaware. You guys are like the entire state is going to chance for some heavy snow. Probably upwards of 8 inches or more. Philly, I think Philly's just out of this snow event. Shockingly, usually Philly's always in it. But I wouldn't rule out some snow at some point tomorrow. Chattanooga, Tennessee is the same. Winter storm warnings out right now. What you're seeing on your screen is Huntsville, and that's all moving towards Chattanooga. I would be shocked if it wasn't snowing already in Chattanooga, or at least about to start. Damage to a fire station in Vidalia. Is that Georgia? Like from storms? Because if that is, then that's probably straight line of wind or maybe a brief tornado. Do I expect tornadoes near Columbia, South Carolina? Let me look here. Where is Columbia? I know where it is. I know the name of it. There it is. I would say probably no. You're pretty far north of that tornado watch. I think it's going to transition more into heavy rain, especially with that cold front now right up on you. I would say just be prepared for some heavy rain. There's flood watches out in that area. Be careful driving. Roads could be flooded. Nashville, you guys are getting hit with some snow right now. Probably going to move out of the area, though, in the next couple of hours, if it hasn't already. And you guys will be set from there. It's going to be a little chilly, but after that snow's gone, you guys will be good. Snowy in Coleman. Coleman, Alabama has snow. So that's straight down 65, right? Yeah. I believe it. This is what, like 40 minutes south of where Huntsville is, where we're seeing live stream at right now. So you're welcome. Anderson, South Carolina, expects severe weather. I just saw that city. Where'd it go? I was just looking at it. I don't know what it did with it though. No, you guys are pretty much way far north. You're actually north of the cold front now, or right up on it. So no severe weather expected in Anderson. More or less, maybe some snow chance, maybe just briefly, but more of a rain issue now. Canton, North Carolina. I just pulled that up earlier because somebody was asking about Canton. Canton, North Carolina. Let's see. Winter storm warnings. That's on the extreme western portion. Winter storm warnings and watches. Some heavy snow expected in that area tonight and tomorrow. So be careful going to work if you have to leave your home. Atlanta, yeah, heavy rain and wind. There are wind advisories out across central Georgia. So it's going to be raining pretty good. And then it's going to be a little windy after that cold front passes through, which I think it already has. So Durham, North Carolina, same thing, heavy rain. Wouldn't be surprised to see a little bit of snow, but for the most part, just rain. Let me take you guys off of this real quick. Let's go back over to the hazards map so you guys can kind of see where you're at on here. You can say hi to yourself. So the purple indicates winter storm watches all the way up through the East Coast, and then winter storm warnings tucked back down through here. Okay. So that's important to know going into tomorrow because these areas in pink are the heaviest hit areas, whether it's heavy snow or the potential for ice. That's this entire area. It's anywhere from Huntsville, Alabama, Chattanooga. It jumps right here for whatever reason. I'm shocked there's no winter storm warning there. And then it goes from North Georgia all the way up through this corridor of about 300 miles up to like the Trenton, New Jersey area. So that's a lot of area for heavy snow potential tomorrow. We're talking especially in this region right here. This region right here and probably the cutoff right here. In this area in the Northeast, you're looking at probably 8 to 10. And then further back here, more like a 4 to 6. Okay. Nonetheless, still good enough to put out winter storm warnings, especially up here in the Northeast from central Virginia up through the, Maryland, Delaware, New Jersey. Heavy snow expected, 8 to 10 inches, maybe hinting at a foot in some areas. No, I don't answer only to subscribers that pay extra. If you have a question, Jason, ask it, but I haven't seen you ask a question yet. Please keep in mind, guys, I got hundreds of comments coming in here, so I can't answer everybody. So don't be offended if I don't see your question. If I don't see your question, just keep asking it over and over again. Eventually, I'll see it. But that is that right there. Okay, so that is heavy snow across the winter storm warning area there. Nick, I'm going to pretend I didn't say that. Right now we're tracking winter weather down in the south. That's pretty much the only news right now. I'm just touching up on the winter event happening down in Huntsville. We're following storm chaser Brad Arnold. He's driving around in Huntsville. We're also tracking the radar, seeing where all the heavy snow is coming down right now, anywhere from Coleman, Alabama, all the way up through portions of central to eastern Tennessee. This whole system is going to push northeast. So you can see now the kind of the wider area of snow once this thing loads. I'll pull this over. So this whole system here, right here, is going to make its way up through parts of eastern Tennessee into western North Carolina, West Virginia, all the way up into the northeast, where we'll get some of the heavier snowfall totals. It's really just now getting going, but we do know that we have winter storm warnings out for this region, and then winter storm warnings all the way up to like the New Jersey area. So definitely, if you live in that area, be ready, be safe tomorrow going to work. I know a lot of people's first day back to work is tomorrow from the holidays. So just gotta be careful getting up in the morning and heading to work, especially if you're not used to it, right? A lot of these areas, like Alabama, for example, Georgia. You guys aren't really used to snow, so you might not remember. Uh, fake news, fake news. Yeah. So you might not really know how to operate in the snow as much as other people. That's okay though. I mean, it's fine. You just gotta be careful driving. Your first day back to work, especially. Join the live feed. Thanks for being so Russellville, Kentucky here. Hey, John, thanks for being here. Keith, I couldn't quite catch that comment, Keith, but I think you asked something about should we see more tornadoes in the South, maybe like this winter. Absolutely, it usually happens once or twice. You get a decent outbreak in January, February, and March across portions of the South. We'll see how it plays out. I know last year they had tornadoes in Alabama in January, and then they had an outbreak like 2 or 3 times. In Alabama in March because I was chasing it. Pigeon forage in the house. Lots of snow coming your way, Darla. Be ready for that. Yeah, guys, that's what I'm here for. I like to answer questions. I like to communicate with you guys as much as I can, so that you guys feel like I'm answering your questions. I know some people are getting upset because I'm not able to get to their questions. There's a lot. If you guys see my screen, there's so much that's hitting, so it's hard for me to actually read everything. So just ask short questions, that way I have enough time to read it. Casey is a moderator. He's also in here. So his comments pop up so I can actually see them. So Casey, if you see anything that maybe is important, just kind of send a message. That way I can see it. South Georgia, you're looking fine right now. There's a tornado watch out, but it looks like the storms are really starting to weaken as they move to the northeast. So you guys should be okay. Listen, y'all. I know what you guys are trying to get me to do. I'm not stupid. Dadeville, Alabama. I don't know where that is. Let's look it up. Dadeville, Alabama. It's pretty far south. I think you're just south of that winter storm watch. I don't really think you'll see much of any snow. If you do, it's going to be very little, just like a dusting almost. But I think you guys are fine down there. If you do wake up and there's a dusting, play it safe, drive safe, because of course, you never know. Pull up Brad's stream here for a little bit so you guys can see what's going on in Huntsville. You're welcome, Melissa. South of Savannah, Georgia. That tornado watch is moving out of that region. I don't know if you guys, depending on where you're at, you should have been in that tornado watch earlier, or at least close to it. Those storms should start moving out and dying off. You guys will be okay as well. No snow is expected in that region either. Probably just some heavy rain. Knoxville's the same. Knoxville, heavy snow pushing east across the state. Probably should expect probably 5 inches or more in that area. Roswell, Georgia. Sorry, Brandon. I've seen you ask that question a couple of times. I just couldn't quite read what state it was in, but I saw your name. North of Atlanta. Yeah, north of Atlanta. Should be okay. Lots of rain coming down in that area. But nothing significant. No tornadoes, no super heavy snowfall, but just lots of rain. Flood watches are out. Also some wind too. It's probably a little bit windy out there as that cold front is now passing through. Give me a city in Grundy County. Lawrenceburg, Georgia snow. Let me check here. Lawrenceburg or Lawrenceville? Lawrenceville. Same thing. You guys will be fine. Lots of rain and some wind. If you guys live in like the Atlanta area, let me know. Is it windy there? Because our wind advisory is out. The cold front has passed. So let me know if it's actually like super windy yet or not. No problem, Katie. Philly, I think Philly's going to dodge some of the big time snow events. I think the majority of the snow is going to stay south of you. I wouldn't expect, or I wouldn't be shocked to see snow like you're seeing on screen. Georgia Storm Trackers, Buchanan, Georgia. But for Philly, I would say you guys aren't really going to see much, but it might shift north, and in the morning it'd be a completely different story. Buchanan, Georgia, on the west portion, I think you guys are south at winter storm watch. I wouldn't expect to see lots of snow again. Maybe just a dusting, and that's about it. Fayetteville, Tennessee. I think that's the eastern portion of Tennessee. I think that's going to see some pretty good snow over there tonight and tomorrow. Michigan, I don't know. I don't really know what's going on in Michigan. I haven't really followed Michigan much at all. I've been focused on the South. No strong winds in Snellville, Georgia. Okay, so Snellville's not getting terribly strong winds. Morristown, Tennessee. Let's see. Huh, that rhymed. Yep. Again, eastern parts of Tennessee up into that tip there in northeast portion of the state is heavy snow potential. Winter storm warnings out tonight. The snow you're seeing on the screen from Brad Arnold is the same snow that's going to that's going to continue across Tennessee. So right here, you see all the snow that he's tracking down here in Huntsville. That's on that northeast movement. So any of this snow right here is heading this way. And then probably snow starting to develop down here towards Tuscaloosa might come this way as well. You have winter storm watches all the way up through northwest Georgia to include like the Calhoun, Georgia area. Anything north of Atlanta, I'd say is or anything in Atlanta area. And south is just rain. But I wouldn't be surprised to see maybe some brief snow showers along that blue line there as it continues track up northeast coast like that. Okay, let me see. Not that windy currently. Okay. Aloha from Hawaii. I wish I was in Hawaii right now. I've never been to Hawaii. I want to go terribly, but it's a little bit out of my price range. Yeah, I don't blame you, Josh. I'm not a huge fan of the snow either. Habersham County, Georgia. Give me a town in it so I can look it up. Casey, I am asking them to repeat their questions if I don't answer it the first time. So if you see someone asking the same question over and over again, that's okay. But if they're spamming it with random nonsense, yeah, just block them. Wallace, North Carolina, and Goose Creek, South Carolina. Look up Wallace first. Wallace, you're close enough to the ocean there. You'll be all right. Probably some rain. Nothing extreme. Just a nasty rainy day, I'd imagine. Goose Creek, same thing. You're pretty close to the ocean there. I wouldn't expect a lot of anything as well. But then again, I mean, I could wake up tomorrow and this would be a whole different system. But you can already tell where the snow is compared to like some of the cities there on the East Coast. Pretty far away from that snow. And that snow is making that type of movement. So I would expect no snow or anything in that area. As well as the potential for tornadoes as well. I think, let's say, I don't know is there still a tornado watch out? I'd be shocked if there was. Okay, so there is still one tornado watch out. It goes until 3. Okay, so they extended that. Okay. Oh, that's a new one. So there is a tornado watch that goes until 3 a.m. Eastern time. But again, it's that North Florida all the way into the extreme east portion of South Carolina. Mainly a damaging wind threat. I've been popping back and forth between that and radar, and there hasn't been a tornado warning for about 2 hours. So I wouldn't be terribly concerned about all that there. There was a tornado watch back here to include like Tallahassee, Albany, Georgia, Macon, but that's it's expired now, which I had a feeling would happen. And it's moved away. Let me get back to the chat here. Yeah, I see a lot of questions about Georgia, so I'm going to try to answer in a mass answer here. Georgia. This is the National Weather Service hazard, right? Okay. So lots of questions coming from Georgia. So here, of course, is Georgia. This brown right here is your wind advisories. Okay. So you got wind advisories for that cold front that's pushing southeast, packing a lot of wind behind it. Okay. So that's why there's a wind advisory out. And then you have your winter storm watch in the purple, northwest Georgia, and then a little tiny section of winter storm warning in North Georgia. So if you live in the purple or pink, if that's one of your counties, okay, if you don't know your counties on a county map, probably good to learn, just because thunder, snow, Zach, quite a few questions about that. Okay, I'll get into thunder, snow here in 1 second. So if you're anywhere in this northwestern portion or northern half of Georgia, expect some snow for sure. Probably a little bit less the further away you get from Tennessee. Probably more of just like dustings and a couple of inches. But if you're in this pink and you're in higher elevation areas, that's a pretty good chance of some heavy snow tonight through tomorrow. This system that is happening right now where Brad is, that's pushing up this way. It's pushing up this way, just like that, like I showed you on the radar. So anywhere south of that is rain. Okay, rain. You have your tornado watch right here. Okay, anywhere in this area is mostly rain and flooding concern. Okay, lots of flooding happening in this region right here from the rain. And then down here you have your tornado watch, where the potential for damaging wind gusts and a tornado or two is possible through 3 a.m. Eastern time. Okay, so if you're in this area in Georgia or Florida, or in one of these 3 counties in South Carolina, that is a tornado watch until 3 a.m. Eastern time. So you need to be ready just in case. If you are going to sleep in this tornado watch area, you need to have a way to receive warnings, okay? Because there could be damaging thunderstorms and tornadoes in that area tonight. And sometimes straight line winds can be just as bad. The National Weather Service now has a new system where if it's damaging winds I think it's over 75 miles an hour, they actually send you an alert on your phone now, just like a tornado warning. So if it's coming in and it's got 75 or greater, which is forecasted in some areas, the possibility is there, you will get an alert on your phone. So make sure your phone is on and near you. Same for tornadoes. Make sure you have your alert settings turned on so that you can get those alerts. Thunder snow. Another question about thunder snow. Thunder snow is interesting. I wonder. Let's see if I can turn on lightning detection here. I don't have the. No, I can't do that. I think I have to be like a pro member, and I don't really want to. I don't even know how to find it. Okay. I don't have lightning detection on this one. Let me pull it up on my phone and see if there's any lightning in some of these storms. So thunder snow is interesting because there's a lot of chasers out right now. You have to be a pro member. I'm not going to pay $10 for lightning. But a lot of this area could see some thunder snow, depending. It's sort of hard to find, but the heavier, better call Jim Cantora, but the heavier areas of snowfall could see some thunder snow. I haven't seen any reports of it yet, but definitely going into more of the northeast area where the really heavy convection of snow is expected tonight and tomorrow. It wouldn't shock me to see a report or two of some thunder snow in the area. I have been chasing storms for like 10 years and I've never seen thunder snow before, or heard it, I guess. I've never seen lightning in a snowstorm. I've never had the opportunity to, unfortunately. I've always wanted to. It's one of my bucket list items, chasing storms, but I just haven't been in the position to see it. Or maybe I was, but I just didn't hear it. Let's see what Brad's up to here in Huntsville. Oops, wrong button. Brad's still driving around, looking at we got a car over here. It maybe be wrecked. Oh no, it's just got its hazards on. I thought maybe we had a wreck there for a second. Shockingly, we've been watching Brad for about an hour, and I haven't seen like any cars in the ditch or anything. 50 years old and saw it once. Yeah, it's not very common. Thunder snow is not very common, and that's why Jim Cantore, everybody's seen Jim Cantore's video of him going absolutely crazy from the thunder snow. That's why. It's not very common. It's very hard to find. And he had the opportunity to witness it. Some reports of thunder snow in Alabama. Yeah, it's possible. It's really coming down good there. Hopefully we maybe get a shot of it here on Brad's stream. Maybe he'll just happen to be in it and we'll be watching him when the lightning flashes. But Long Island, good question. I have some storm chaser friends that live on Long Island and they've been talking about snow a little bit. I think you guys are getting a couple of inches, but nothing like out of control. You guys are kind of used to the snow out there in the New York area. So, but I've seen, what is he doing? Oh, he's testing his, I'm trying to figure out what he's doing. But I have seen a couple of them say something about a couple of inches of snow out there. If the system shifts north, you guys could get even more. It just really just depends, 18 degrees and a few inches here in western New York. Newark Fort Drum, known for bad weather. Fort Drum, man, sounds familiar. I've never been to it, but I've heard of it. Johnson County, Tennessee. There's a lot of people from Johnson County, Tennessee. They're like at least the 10th person that's asked me about that. I think remind me, Terry, is that the western portion of Tennessee? I should know by now, considering I've got so many people ask me. Let me look it up here because so many people are asking about that. It's got to be a populated area. Oh, no, it's over there on the eastern portion. Oh, it's almost North Carolina. I was way off. Yeah, so Johnson County, lots of snow potential in the mountains. Yeah, lots of snow potential for Johnson County. Johnson City is eastern. Okay. Anywhere in like eastern Tennessee, I would say anywhere from like Nashville east, kind of like Knoxville, that area, that whole region could see some really heavy snowfall tonight and tomorrow. This system that we're watching Brad chase is the same system that's going to push to the northeast. We'll cover it tomorrow as well. We'll go live at some point in the afternoon and we'll pull up live streams. We'll pull up DOT trucks that are out plowing the snow. If you guys have social media, All right, give me 1 second, guys. I'm trying to figure out my headset. Yes, I know you can't hear me. Give me 1 second. Yeah, thanks, Casey. I'm working on it. Can you guys hear me now? I know you guys can hear me. Let's see if you guys. It looks like it's fixed now. I don't know what happened there. Weird. Okay. I have no idea what happened there. Sorry, guys. Yay, we can hear me. Okay. Woohoo. I don't know. It did that the other day. I don't know if you guys were with me the other day when it did that. It just like randomly turned off. Okay, perfect. Sorry, guys. Continue with your questions. I think it's when I put that graphic over myself. That's when it did that weird thing. Anyways, it doesn't matter. We're back. Continue your guys' question. Sorry. We are still following Brad Arnold, who is in Huntsville, Alabama. That's who's on your screen. He is out getting some snow footage. Looks like there's probably 3 inches now, maybe closing in on 4 on the ground. When he started going live, when we were tuning in, he was maybe just had about 1 inch on the ground. So he is. What's up, Corey? Corey Brown in the house. We got a lot of viewers right now. We're staying busy, that's for sure. So here's our hazards map. Here is where Brad is, the guy that's in that video. He's right there in Huntsville, right? Lots of heavy snow coming down for Alabama, right? Kind of crazy. Big pocket of snow making its way across the state. Let's go ahead and go a little bit further south in Alabama. See how far south this tongue of snow is going. You can see it now in Tuscaloosa, even Birmingham. It's approaching you. Like I said, all these areas across Alabama, anywhere from about right here, snow potential moving this way, right? Especially in this region here, northwest Georgia, northeast Alabama, and then also way up here, all that area, with the potential for some heavy snow going into tonight, tomorrow morning. We'll broadcast live tomorrow as well. Following it, look at all this. Look at this whole area now, all the way up into Tennessee, Nashville, right on the edge now, all the way down through Huntsville, all the way up through Tennessee. It's actually getting close to Lexington. I told someone earlier in Lexington that probably not, but it's actually getting pretty close. The snow is moving a little bit further north than originally anticipated, it looks like. I know that there was a meteorologist with the National Weather Service earlier that said that the snow was actually overproducing in a lot of areas. They weren't really expecting that much snowfall in the Huntsville region all the way up through Nashville, but it's really producing. It's doing a good job, which is ironic because the storms yesterday underproduced. The tornadoes yesterday underproduced. So it's kind of ironic that now the snow is overproducing. Florence and Clemson, South Carolina in the tornado zone. Oh, let me see where that is. My phone's starting to die too. No, way out of it. Clemson is way far north of that tornado threat. You guys more have a snow threat than anything. So right here is the hazards map. Okay, you got your winter storm watches all the way down through Mississippi, all the way up through New Jersey, 300 to 400 miles long. Then you have your winter storm warnings, this little pocket here across northern Alabama, southern Tennessee. And then it restarts the winter storm warning pattern all the way up through the mountains of the Appalachians to include eastern Tennessee, western North Carolina, most of Virginia, West Virginia, portions of it, eastern Kentucky, all of Delaware, and southern New Jersey, as well as Maryland. Okay, so huge area. Is the pink ice? Not necessarily. It could mean some ice, but for the most part, the pink just means winter storm warning altogether, which could be snow or ice. No problem. That's what I'm here for. Yeah, thank you, David. Yeah. Pink, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get ice in the pink. You can, for sure. But it just, typically it means really heavy snow. I'm actually not sure if there's even ice expected. We can pull it up though. Ice is a little bit more concerning to me than snow. Snow you can drive in for the most part. Ice, a little bit more difficult. So not a lot of ice expected. You can see little pockets at higher elevations right here in the Appalachians. And then maybe a little small area here in West Virginia, again, higher elevation. But in the area where the heaviest snowfall is coming down, there is no ice predicted. So those winter storm warnings are more or less for heavy snow, not ice. However, the areas in which they were saying some ice potential is still in that winter storm warning area. So yes, green is for flash flooding, or just flooding in general, not necessarily flash, but flooding in general. These are flood watches right here. So basically, how the system is working, it's a pretty textbook winter weather setup. You have a low pressure system tucked down here in Georgia, right? Indicated by the L on the circle. I'm going to change colors. And then you have your tornado watch right here, okay, which is southeast of that low pressure quadrant, which is what you would expect. And then you have your snow system north and northwest of that low pressure. As that low pressure, switch back to pink, as that low pressure trucks like this, more than likely, right up the East Coast, then you're going to have all your heavy rain right there. Also, probably a little bit of mixed precipitation as well. Maybe not all rain. You could get a little snowflakes anywhere along that western half of that low pressure system as well. I know it's kind of a mess just looking at it like that, but yes, flash flooding is a risk right through here. Probably a lot of mixed precipitation happening on the western half of that as well. And then brown is your wind advisories. David's kind of on it right now. These are your wind advisories. That cold front that's kind of pushing its way about right here. Behind it, usually you get some pretty strong winds after it blows through the area. That's when you get your wind advisories and things of that nature. Did I close Brad? Yeah, I must have closed him. I don't remember closing him. Go back to Brad here. I didn't realize I closed him. Probably when my audio went out was when I closed him. Looks like Brad is buying a car right now. He's at the Hyundai shop. He's looking for a new vehicle. What county is tornado watch in Georgia? Good question. Let me pull it up. It doesn't actually give me the exact counties, but I can pull them up. I'm going to pull up the exact counties in Georgia that are under that tornado watch. Can you hear me now? I don't know what's going on with that. I guess we'll just keep it on there. You guys can hear me now, right? I don't know why it keeps muting me, but oh well. Thanks, Casey, for letting me know I'm muted. Well, everybody, thank you so much for letting me know I'm muted. But those are the warnings right now in South Carolina. There's your cold front. So here's your cold front draping across the area. A little bit of a rising warm front. Not going to really do much. Here's your triple point and your severe storms happening right southeast of that triple point. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with my microphone tonight. It's every time I pop up Brad, so I wonder if maybe it's... But it's every time I pop up Brad, it turns off on me. So I'm just going to leave Brad off, probably because it's interacting with that video. But let's check the radar. Let's see how it's looking. Looks like a mess. You guys can ask questions here in a second. I will get right back to them. I'm going to switch my radar back to Huntsville so we can see the transition from rain to snow here. But we're just waiting to see. Yeah, that is crazy. Tornadoes in the same area too. We had tornadoes back in this area yesterday. Okay. Sorry, I was catching up on a couple messages that were coming in on my social media. Okay, let's answer some questions for you guys, okay? Because I know I stepped away from chat for a second. You guys can hear me okay, right? Yeah, you guys can. I can see my... Okay. Can we talk about the system on Thursday? I'm going to do a forecast video tomorrow afternoon on all of that. So just hang tight until tomorrow afternoon. I will let you guys know on all about that. Trying to keep up with all the... St. Louis is chilly. How chilly? How cold is it there in St. Louis? What causes funnel clouds? Okay. It really depends on what kind of funnel cloud. There's different forms, but your traditional tornadic funnel cloud is caused by multiple things. But usually it's just surface winds interacting with each other, creating a column of air. But then you have like your cold air funnels that are a little bit higher altitude funnel clouds that don't usually touch down on the ground. You'll get those a lot. It doesn't have to be cold outside either to have cold air funnels. Yeah, I know my audio isn't out. I'm listening to myself in my ears to make sure it's working. So thanks, Zach. Maybe one day you can show us a real funnel cloud real time. Yeah, I'm going to try to. My goal for 2022 is to live stream all of my storm chases on YouTube. So that way you guys can follow along with me on storm chases. I think that'd be pretty fun. You guys can watch how it's done, watch how we operate, how we get close to tornadoes and everything like that live on the air. I think that'd be pretty cool. Using Tropical Tidbits, man, I haven't used that site in a long time. Tropical Tidbits. I usually use that for like hurricane forecasting. I used to live in Indiana and never saw a tornado. We used to go into the basement. Okay. What part of Indiana? I'm from Indiana as well. 75 degrees here 2 days ago. Yeah, it's crazy how quickly the weather pattern is changing. Definitely an odd. Thank you, David, for the subscription. Yeah, definitely weird how it's changing. Usually, you get these in the Midwest. You get like a random tornado outbreak, um, and then winter weather afterwards in the wintertime. This is kind of weird for the South. Uh, Zionsville. Okay, I know where Zionsville. Yeah, in the Indianapolis area. I'm from West Lafayette. USA enjoying snow. Us in the UK getting only mild and wet weather. Has it snowed yet in the UK? You guys have a good snowstorm? I'm not sure how the weather works over there. I really didn't study anything abroad. Carolinas in the morning. So we got some heavy snow that's coming up on the Carolinas. Heavy snow is really going to stick to the western portion of the Carolinas. Winter storm warnings out, especially for the western half of North Carolina. But the rest of the state, from central to east, is a lot of rain. We have the potential for flooding as well tomorrow across the Carolinas. Born in West Lafayette, 1971. Right on. That's awesome. Small world for sure. I still live here. That's where I'm at right now. 78 degrees yesterday, and we're having thunderstorms and rain. Today we're under winter storm warning. Isn't that crazy? It's crazy how that works. And no problem, Margaret. That's what I'm here for. Winter UK has had no major snow. Okay. Fast moving storm. In reference to what? The snowstorm? Usually snow events don't go very quickly. Usually snow events are pretty slow moving. It really just depends how wide they are, on like determination of how much snow is going to fall and how quickly it falls, and as well as temperatures up in the air and temperatures at the surface. Questions of snow in Chattanooga. Okay. Chattanooga, it's coming right at you. So right here's Chattanooga. I already got it up on my screen. It looks like you're probably going to transition into snow here soon. So right here's the line. What's happening is the storm system is moving to the east and northeast as temperatures drop, right? So as the temperature falls, it transitions into snow. So any moment now, this line of rain will become snow, and then you'll get some heavy snow like we're seeing in Huntsville. How does LSM get all the videos? So you're talking about Live Storms Media. So Live Storms Media contracts storm chasers. So they hire storm chasers as contractors. The chasers go out, they get the footage, and then they upload the footage to the platform. And that footage is either sold to media or it's just posted on their YouTube. Absolutely no problem, Dar. That's what I'm here for. Not a lot of snow or frigid Arctic cold here in Boston since December 2017, early January 2018. It could change this year. You never know. You guys get some pretty good snow up there, though, don't you? Up there in, I don't even know what HARP is. I've seen so many people talking about that. I need to research it. Like, what do you guys talk? I know something about like man-made weather, whatever that is. But I need to actually get it. I need to research what you guys are trying to get at. So happy the storm is coming. No school. I miss those times. You know what? Those who were like '90s babies. You know, we would wake up in the morning for school, and you'd wait for your school to come up on the bottom of the screen to see if it was 2 hour delay or closed. I miss those times. Yeah, for sure. Weather is definitely not something to joke around about. Um, Weather is dangerous. It can be dangerous. Certainly should be taken serious. But I respect everybody's opinions as well when it comes to weather and meteorology. Yeah, yeah, 90s babies. Yeah. Absolutely. Charge your phone, keep it by your bed. Make sure I always do like a double check on like my alert settings too, to make sure that the settings are turned on for emergency alerts for tornadoes and stuff like that for weather. You miss snow? I don't. I'm not a huge snow fan, but I've had a lot of messages come in tonight about people missing snow and things of that nature. I'm not a huge fan of it, and I'm from the Midwest, so I kind of deal with it. But I do like covering it, especially if it's like crazy where people are like, like cars are just all over the place. It makes it a little bit more hectic. Uh, but I'm not a huge snow fan, but it's okay. Alabama, anything north of Birmingham, pretty much Birmingham being the cutoff in Alabama, anything north of that has potential for snow tonight. Anything south of Birmingham, you're probably going to get a little bit of mixed precipitation. If it's, I don't even know if it's actually raining down there or not. I don't think it's raining down there. So I think you guys are just more or less dealing with snow in the northern half of the state, and then the rest of the south should be fine. No problem. That's what I'm here for. I'm gonna have to look into that. I'm gonna I'm gonna look into that. I'm gonna look into HARP. I'm gonna see what you guys are talking about. That way, I might not believe it, but I probably won't. But at least I'll be on the same page with you guys on what you're referring to, because I've seen that comment at least 100 times in the last couple of days. Floyd, Gordon, and Bartow counties in Georgia. Anything in the northern half of Georgia, so pretty much being like Atlanta and cut off, anything up here has the potential for rain transitioning into snow. Okay, there are winter storm watches in here, winter storm warnings in the far north and northwest part of the state. Anything in the south, you're pretty much in the clear, maybe some rain through the night, heavy rain probably. And then down here, we have tornado threat going on in southeast Georgia, severe thunderstorm threat. Not so much tornado. There hasn't been a tornado warning for about 2.5 hours. Snow in Atlanta? No, more or less north of Atlanta. I mean, I'm not going to be like totally shocked if there's like a flake of snow in Atlanta tonight, but it's not going to be like some crazy snowstorm in Atlanta. Yeah, no, I definitely will. I'll look into it. I'll look into HARP and I'll I'll see what the hell you guys are talking about. I've been skipping those comments because I'm like, what are they even talking about? High altitude oral research project. Okay, interesting. Have I ever seen a live tornado? Were you close? Absolutely. I've seen. Let's see. I had 20 tornadoes this year, which brought my count to 70. I've seen 70 total tornadoes in my career. If you go, this YouTube channel is somewhat new, so a lot of my footage isn't on here. I had a computer back in the day, and it had all of my old tornado pictures stored on it because I used to never like record tornadoes on video for fun. I used to like take one or two photos and just observe from there. It was just, I didn't really think it was that important to record tornadoes. And that computer like blue screened, lost everything. It wiped the whole computer out. So I lost a lot of that. But a lot of my YouTube channel here has has all of my tornadoes from this year and then some from a couple years back. So if you want to take a look after we're done here, you're more than welcome to. There's quite a bit of videos on here of tornadoes. The closest tornado I've ever been to would be probably the 2016 Kokomo, Indiana F3. It dropped down a little bit too soon. We weren't expecting it to be that close. And then the biggest tornado I've ever seen is an F4. And that was just on December 10th. That was the Mayfield tornado. That same storm system dropped an F4 in Missouri, and we were pretty close to it. Thank you guys for coming in. What we're doing right now is, well, first off, I was answering questions, talking about HARP apparently as well. But we have a pretty decent area of heavy snow popping up across southern Tennessee and North Alabama. I know the caption doesn't match what we're actually talking about because I forgot to change it. But we got a lot of heavy snow falling across Mississippi and Alabama that we started talking about 2.5 hours ago. And we're kind of just answering any questions that I can answer about this snowstorm. We'll do some more coverage tomorrow as the system pushes up across North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, Maryland, Delaware. We'll talk about all of it tomorrow when I wake up and we get going. Once I get my coffee that I don't drink, I'm a energy drink type of person. So, how do you? Hold on, I want to answer that question. Stop. How do you know if a tornado is severe going towards where you live? If the warning system is the warning system good enough? We hope it is. Technology is so advanced now that we should have enough lead time. And we do. I mean, look at Mayfield, Kentucky, for example, December 10th, that F4 that went through there. Everybody thought it was F5. It was really close to being F5 and hit a lot of homes. It was at night. People were sleeping and still, the National Weather Service probably saved hundreds of lives issuing tornado warnings that far in advance. I mean, they had 25 to 30 minutes of a heads up. So I think the warning system is doing really well right now. Sometimes there's missed opportunities. Sometimes tornadoes are missed. It happens. Radars still aren't to the point where we can, because the big thing is with research, tornado research, we're trying to figure out why do some storms produce tornadoes and others don't, even though they look exactly identical. It's something that we just can't really forecast quite yet. Technology is not there, but that's why research is being done. There's researchers out there getting close to tornadoes and dropping sensors into tornadoes, and one day we'll get there. Thank you guys so much for being here. We've had quite a bit of followers tonight. I wasn't expecting this many viewers, but I thank everybody for being here. We'll be back tomorrow, more than likely, covering the winter weather events and storms. Williamsburg, Virginia. Where are we at here? Sounds really familiar. Tell me what part of Virginia that's in. If you're in anywhere in this portion of Virginia, which is most of the state, extremely heavy snowfall. Most of the state's going to get some pretty good snow, and we're talking 8 inches or more, all the way through here. And then maybe like the southeast portion would be the least amount. Probably the only area that wouldn't see snow would be the extreme, like Virginia Beach almost. But I would still think that maybe even that far southeast, they would see some snow. So most of Virginia getting pretty good tomorrow and everything. Would you consider that the storms in northwest Georgia are rotating and dangerous, or do you think it's radar interference? I'm already going to answer probably radar interference. Reason being is because that is well north of that cold front. Right here's your cold front. Any storms up here are not going to be tornadic. The environment does not support tornadoes that far north. So probably just a little bit of radar interference doing some weird stuff. I can pull velocity to see what you're trying to look at here. Yeah, I mean, there's absolutely nowhere in there that would be producing any type of, maybe something right here in the Rome area, but that's not tornadic. That's just probably some wind doing some weird stuff. But I see what you're talking about, though, for sure. But anything north of that cold front is not going to be tornadic. I saw someone say something about maybe thunder snow in Alabama. Is someone seeing thunder snow in Alabama right now? I wouldn't be shocked. Any snow in St. Louis? No, I think St. Louis is well north of any snow potential this time around. We are tracking some chances next week, though. No, it's good. You can ask. That's absolutely fine. Yeah, anything north of that cold front here, I'll show you where the cold front is. So I think I still have it pulled up. Yep. So right here is your cold front, the little blue line. So anything up in here is not going to do anything. It's really anything. This is the main line right here, because that's also north of the warm front as well. So that's like a double negative, double no. You won't get any tornadoes out of that. Okay, let me get back to comments here. Gaffney, South Carolina. Rain, depending on where you're at. I don't know where Gaffney, South Carolina is, but there's no winter storm warnings or watches at all in South Carolina. But I'm going to go ahead and say there's probably going to be a chance of snow anywhere in this region, and then mainly a flooding concern the rest of the state. Flooding and rain and just grossness. I don't know how you didn't get snow in North Alabama. The whole area is still snowing. This whole area has seen snow so far today. It looks like it's transitioning into rain, or transitioning into snow here in the northeast portion of the state, but it's definitely snowing in North Alabama. We were just watching live storm chasers as well in the Huntsville, Coleman area with snow. Yep, North Illinois gonna be super cold tonight. Absolutely. That's actually a reminder I need to get my pipes turned on before they bust, or not bust, but freeze, because there is a chance for some pretty cold weather tonight in that area. Let's see any questions I can answer here. Brookhaven, Georgia, going to get snow. Anything in the northwest portion of the state has the potential for any of this rain to transition into snow tonight into tomorrow. Anything south of that, which is where your cold front is likely not going to happen. Thank you for subscribing, Josh. Appreciate it, buddy. Thank you everybody for subscribing. I know we've gained some more subscribers tonight. Thank you guys so much. Williamsburg is north of Virginia Beach. Okay, you're talking about Virginia, right? So you were just asking me. So over this area. Oh, I see it. Okay. Yeah, so right in here. I think you're gonna, well, let's pull up the hazards map. We'll get a little bit more into detail here before I answer a question and be wrong. So here's our hazards map. So Virginia Beach being, oh man, it's close. It's really close. There's winter storm warnings all through here. So it's very possible that you are far enough that you could see some really, really good snow. Yeah, thanks, Josh. I appreciate it. That's what I'm all about. I know a lot of people, if you watch them, they don't really like to look at the comments, and I'm here for you guys, just like you guys are here for me. It's shared. It's a mutual feeling. So I'm here to answer questions that you guys are handing out, because I'm here to spread weather awareness and spread information. So any comments that I can answer, I've seen a lot of the same comments. So I'm trying to answer comments that are new. So I apologize if I don't answer your question, but just keep asking eventually. Snow in New York City. Right now they don't have any warnings up there in New York City. Let me move up a little bit. They don't have any warnings at all in New York City yet. Do I expect them to? Yes, I do. At some point. So I would say yes, there's probably some potential for snow. Thank you so much, Terry, for subscribing. Yeah, I know. Social media doesn't really cover weather unless, that's the problem though, is like you don't have that look. You don't have like local meteorologists are only going to cover weather in their local area. So, and sometimes they don't even do that. I know some people that were pretty upset about that tornado outbreak on December 10th because their local news agencies weren't covering it. It was like, it's crazy to hear that. Will Central North Carolina see any snow? For the most part, central North Carolina is all flood risk. So all these greens in here, that's a flood watch. Your heavier snow seems to remain west and northwest of you. Probably just some pretty good snow, or pretty good rain, sorry. How much do I think you'll get in DC? I've seen a couple reports like 4 to 8 inches in the DC area. I think it's just right over there. I might be off on my location a little bit. Hold on one second. I'll kind of get a better answer for you. Yeah, I was right. So 4 to 8 inches is what I heard in the DC area. Pretty heavy snow potential for sure. Fredericksburg, Virginia. I know where that is. I've heard of that before. That's somewhere right in here. I know it is. Again, same thing. Winter storm warning. Heavy snow, 4 to 8 inches, maybe more. 4 to 8 inches in Northeast Tennessee. Absolutely. Right in here. Let's say anywhere in this pink area, 4 to 8 inches. If you get closer up here to the Northeast, you're probably more 8 to 10 inches. So Washington, D.C., 8 inches or more. Fredericksburg, Virginia, Trenton, Delaware, New Jersey, all that area, potential for 8 inches or more. Thunderstorms in Gaffney, South Carolina, 2 to 5 a.m. Yeah, absolutely. This is when this, depending on, I don't know exactly where Gaffney, South Carolina is without looking at it. But you have tornado watches going all the way through this area. So that's through 3 a.m. Flood watches there in South Carolina as well. And then these storms could continue their northeast trek into South Carolina, but just not be tornadic. They could be just damaging wind only, kind of getting out of that environment for tornadoes by the time they get to, it's an upstate South Carolina. So in this area, yeah, you're probably going to get some thunderstorms in here. I would say nothing terribly severe though. There is, however, a slight risk out tomorrow with tornado potential in North Carolina, that area, I believe. But that's pretty normal with these types of weather systems. We can actually pull that up for tomorrow. Oh, that's not right. So here's tomorrow's outlook. So North Carolina, okay. So you're seeing on the screen here, North Carolina's tornado threat and severe thunderstorm threat tomorrow. So what's happening is you have this low pressure system down here making its way up like this. Anything up north of that is your heavy snow right in here. Okay. Anything south of that or right on it is your heavy rain and your thunderstorm potential. Okay. And then right here, just North Carolina, just a small section of North Carolina is your biggest tornado threat tomorrow afternoon, and probably maybe a little bit in the morning as well, as that low pressure system kicks up all that heavy snow right here, and then the thunderstorm threat down south of it. Southwest part of Virginia, so heavy snow potential right there, as I just circled a second ago, anywhere right in this area. So definitely a chance for 4 to 8 inches, maybe a little bit more. Let me see here. I'm not going to turn that down, Josh. Yeah, I'm always, I usually chase by myself if I'm not with Brad. And sometimes that does become a little difficult. If you've ever chased tornadoes at close range by yourself, it becomes a little bit stressful and tough to do sometimes. Is this storm fast moving? Are you referring to the winter storm or the severe thunderstorms tomorrow? For the most part, all of it's not really moving that quickly. For severe thunderstorms, they're not moving that quickly. This is a pretty small area. So it's, if it's moving fast, it's not going to take long to get out of the way. I have super chats waiting to be approved. That has to go through like an approval process. I think I have to make like a certain amount before I can actually qualify. The only thing that's set up right now in chats is the donations that you guys can give out, but super chats isn't set up yet. I'm waiting for approval through YouTube. What's something? Oh, I missed it. Oh, hold on. Let me go back up. John Myers says, I just subscribed to your description of weather conditions on a layman's level. Yeah, I try to make it as simple as easy for you guys to understand. Because you get a lot of meteorologists that get on and start talking about weather, and you're just like, what the hell does that mean, right? I try to break it down as best as I can so you guys understand what I'm talking about as best I can. Sometimes it's hard. What about New Kent? It's above Williamsburg, but just barely in the warning area. Heavy snow, man. Here, let me switch back to the other one that I want. So kind of the same thing, Kent, north of Williamsburg. So kind of right in the heart of that winter storm warning. So this whole corridor is 4 to 8 inches, probably more down south, and then it gets kind of escalates as you get northeast, and you're looking at 8 to 10 inches. Some areas could see more, some areas could see a little bit less. Just it kind of depends where those heavier snow bands are going to be when it really starts getting going tomorrow. Tracking stars in the public, I wouldn't mind helping in the background of it. Yeah, sure. I really appreciate that, Josh. I don't mind that at all. Do you see any more snow? I would say probably no, Brian. I would say that's probably the snow you're going to have for a good while. Just one of those weird things. Thank you so much for your hard work, making it easy to understand. Absolutely. That's what I'm here for. Thank you so much. Scroll back down here and get caught back up on. Thank you, Jackie. I appreciate it. My voice is calming. Good. I try not to the hype the situation either. I try not to yell or to get like crazy with my words or anything. In some of my tornado videos, you can kind of hear I like to yell sometimes. I'm trying to bring that down a little bit to kind of keep it a little more relaxing when you're trying to watch a tornado video. Because I think it ruins the video a lot when you hear yelling in the background. So I try to tone it down a little bit. Which of these radar apps are good for tracking tornadoes? I use Radar Omega, Radar Scope, which is what's on the screen right now. And then I use, and then my chase partner uses GR level 2 and 3, but I prefer just using Radar Scope. I think it's the easiest thing to do because it's on my phone, so I can just pull it right up. Yeah, Reed Timmer. Yeah, Reed is really good at yelling. I think a lot of his videos would be so much better if he just kind of kept calm. But that's Reed, he's known for being a hype man and yelling, and he's done really good in his life and career, so I can't really blame him, I guess. Does Radar Scope have tornado tracking warnings? Yeah, absolutely. It has everything. Tornado warnings and everything like that. There's actually no warnings at all that I can even show you, but yes, it has all of that. Do you see any snow coming for Long Island, or is it this for a while? No, there's definitely a potential for snow going into tomorrow. You can see the winter storm warnings trailing up the East Coast, and then it like stops right before it gets to. Let me scroll up here. It like stops right before it gets to Long Island. But I think you guys will probably see a little bit of something tomorrow. If I were a betting man, tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, maybe into the next day, I would say you guys would see something. I don't see it not happening. So. Any snow in Texas? No, just really cold. I don't think there's any chance that there's no winter storm watches or anything out like that. It's just going to be cold. It's just a weird Arctic blast coming in from Canada. What's the Browns? Yeah, it's a losing football team. Just kidding. They're actually doing pretty good this year. The Browns are wind advisories. Okay, so when this cold front's pushing through Georgia, it's packing winds with it and behind it. And so that's why the wind advisories are up right now. Radar Scope, Josh. I would say Radar Scope's better in my opinion. Radar Omega offers you a lot, but I just prefer Radar Scope. I think it's just easier to work through. It's faster. What program software do you use? Yeah, to live streams. The Browns are a football team. They're out of Cleveland. To live stream, I'm using Restream.io, and then for like radar and everything, I'm using Radar Scope. Virginia, yep, well, a lot of Virginia under the winter storm warnings tomorrow. Even parts of West Virginia as well. Lots of snow coming your guys' way, 8 inches or more. Thank you so much, LNC. Appreciate it, brother. Big storms coming off the West Coast. Not like you would expect. I know somebody in here said California is getting a lot of rain, so it kind of leads me to believe there's a pattern coming off the coast. And there very well might be. I know there's potential for maybe some heavy snow across the Midwest going into next week. Maybe a little bit this week as well. We'll have to take a look tomorrow when I do a forecast video in the morning. Will it shift north? I've had that question a couple times. Really unclear. I would say anywhere in this region, all the way up through Long Island, should probably expect maybe some snow as well, just in case. Totals, not really sure. Probably 2 to 4 inches, just to be on the safe side. What does the red color mean? I don't see red. You're probably talking about pink. But these are winter storm warnings all the way up through here. Chance for some heavy, heavy snow going tonight, tomorrow, and tomorrow night. 93 and 98. Yeah, man, I really wish I was alive through another one of those big winter storms. I kind of, but not really, because I know they cause a lot of power outages and stuff. I don't want to deal with that, but it would be cool just to witness it, to witness the snowstorms like they had in the 90s. Yeah, so Arlington, Virginia's been in the 70s the last 4 days. Yeah, it makes sense, right? So you got a cold front pushing up right now. Any moment that cold front's probably going to be catching up with you, right? Yes, I do have a Twitter. It is at Zach Walters WX, ZACHWALTERS, and then WX. But that cold front pushing towards Arlington, Virginia. As soon as it reaches you, you'll feel a drop in temperature, and that's when the snow will show up later on, probably into tomorrow. Yes, the storms are definitely calming down. Severe weather is almost non-existent. I mean, we don't even have any warnings out right now. There's a tornado watch until 3 a.m. Eastern, which is another 3 hours, but I don't think it's needed if there's not going to be anything happening. So here's your line of storms in southeast Georgia. I would be more or less concerned about these back here, but none of them are warned. So thank you so much, Jordan. It's your boy, Weatherman 69. That's nice. Y'all goofy. I love it. Thank you for the donation, though. Can you accumulate with? It'll cool down. It won't be 70 degrees when it starts snowing. When that cold front passes through Virginia, the temperatures will drop, and it'll get cold enough for snow to accumulate. Okay, you sent me a picture. Okay. I got it. Where was this from, Josh? When are you going to end the live stream? Here pretty soon, probably. I'm just kind of talking with y'all, answering any questions you have on tomorrow's and right now's system. We'll probably go back through radar one more time. We'll talk about the winter storm warnings one more time. We'll talk about the tornado watch at least one more time, and then we'll get the hell out of here. Go to sleep for the night. 20 minutes before NWS ever won at Calhoun, Georgia. When's that from? Is that from tonight? Is that from they had some pretty strong storms. Is it going to be windy in Williamsburg? Virginia, right? They don't have any wind advisories out for that area. It might be a little windy, but it probably isn't going to be like enough to be issuing wind advisories. Will it hit Pennsylvania? I think it's going to clip southeast Pennsylvania. I would say probably close up to like the Philadelphia area. Might see some snow. Wouldn't be shocked. New Year's Day. Okay, yeah. We were live on the air. I was actually tracking those storms. on New Year's Day across Georgia. Terry says she's staying up to watch the snow and she's going to fall asleep. That's a good feeling, though, falling asleep when it's snowing outside. It's like you get a better sleep when that happens. Definitely a good-looking storm, Josh, for sure. It looks healthy. Will Raleigh, North Carolina experience snow? It's close. You guys are kind of on the edge of that snow. Here's the winter storm warnings and watches. I think you guys are going to miss it. You guys got a lot of flood watches going on, though, but that doesn't mean you might see a couple flakes of snow. It's just not really expecting to be a lot. Wind advisory and a winter. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's winter storm wind advisories going all the way up through Georgia, and at the same time being under a winter storm warning. It's crazy. All right, Casey, that's fine. I'm about to get off here as well. Prince William County. It says it's going to start about 3 a.m. Okay, and that's up here in Virginia, right? Somewhere right in here. Jordan Hall in the house. Check out his page, man. He's been on top of it lately. Getting a lot of tornado. Already got a tornado in 2022. It's impressive. I didn't chase, but that's crazy. And then you guys dominated Applebee's, I saw too. It's awesome. Starting off 22 just right, man. Good for you. Brandy says it's windy in Coleman. Probably a little windy down here, south of that winter storm warning. Thank you, Jordan, brother. I appreciate it. Thanks, brother. I really appreciate it, man. I'll give you a phone call tomorrow. You guys on your way back home yet? Jordan Hall, he's a storm chaser. He was down here in Alabama yesterday chasing some tornadoes, right where that winter storm warning currently exists. He has definitely been busy. He was on the Quad State outbreak as well that I was talking about earlier. Windy and snowy in Coleman. Yeah, absolutely. Right there. Let's see here. Okay, you guys made it back tonight. Okay, good. Yeah, I'll give you a call tomorrow, buddy. No, you guys will be fine driving to like Atlanta tomorrow. There's not significant snowfall accumulations expected. Probably no snowfall really. Mostly rain. MEPS next week. Army infantry. Yeah, you're gonna love Fort Benning, my friend. I say that loosely. Thank you so much for the subscription, guys. If you guys have any questions, let me know if you ever need to meet on board. Thanks, Josh. I'll hit you up. I got you on Twitter now. Let's ask some final questions here. See if anybody has any. Yeah, Jordan Hall is great. Yeah, real good guy. He's a good chaser. He's doing good out there. Thank you so much. I appreciate that comment. I really do. Cooking with the Cajun. Thanks, John. I appreciate it, buddy. Thanks for being here. It's usually a little bit more active, but usually it depends on like how far into the live stream we are. Usually the first hour to 2 hours is kind of crazy because we're covering a lot of events, tornadoes going and whatnot. And then as the stream kind of comes to an end, I just like to answer questions and talk about upcoming weather patterns. And once everything's calmed down, we don't have any tornado warnings. We don't have any severe thunderstorm warnings. We still have some heavy snowfall coming down, but it's going to be like that throughout the entire night. I'm not going to talk about it for the next 12 hours, but we'll get back tomorrow and we'll start covering it as it pushes east. You actually see some really heavy snow bands now approaching Huntsville. It's still coming down really good. So that whole area is just getting hammered with snow now in an area they're not really used to getting. Good night, Jackie. It's good to hear from you as well. Be safe. Thanks, John. Have a good night, buddy. Live in Northern Virginia. Just took my dog out. The temperature. Yeah, it's all right. It'll keep dropping as the night goes on. You probably just got that you got that good cold front feeling now as the sun continues on the other side of the planet. You'll definitely start to feel a temperature drop. How far south into Georgia will you see snow? Not terribly far south. It seems to remain mainly in northern and northwest Georgia. So right here is pretty much the cutoff where those winter storm watches and warnings are. Atlanta, somewhere right in here. It's pretty far south of that line. Dalton, Georgia. I don't know where that is. Let me look. I'm telling you, you guys are going to have me knowing every city's location. Yeah. Dalton, Georgia is way up there. It's in the it's pretty cold. I would say it's even probably in that winter storm warning, or at least close to. It'll be cold enough. I mean, that's what the National Weather Service is saying, anyways. Okay, Dalton's in the blue. Okay, so the new winter storm watch. So I would definitely say that the potential is there for snowfall accumulation in that area. Have you guys seen like big snow events up in Dalton before? Or is it just kind of like a once every 5 years type of deal? Excuse me. Oh, I saw a question that looked interesting. Hang on. Isn't there a gradient for weather forecasts? Like, how is it such a hard line cutoff? That's a good question. Usually it's based on temperature, and low pressure systems, right? So when you get a low pressure system down here and it's cutting up through here like this, it's pretty much why it's a cutoff like that. And you can see how they kind of have it lined up and then they have it coming back east. So it kind of signifies that the low pressure system's going to kind of come up and do one of these weird things. That's usually why you get a good cutoff. Also temperatures and how far south that cold front comes, right? So if you have a cold front kind of going like that, and then your temperature cutoff is somewhere like this, they kind of know where the heavier snow is going to be. There's a lot more into it. I'm just trying to make it as simple as I possibly can, but winter weather forecasting is very difficult. Let's get out a couple of final questions here, and then we'll call it for the night and come back tomorrow. Talk about winter storm warnings all across the Northeast. By the time I get on here tomorrow, we should have lots of snow on the ground across like Virginia and Eastern Tennessee all the way, and we'd be heading into the Northeast by that time. About once every 5 years, that makes sense. I was just say I don't see there being good snow like every year. So, good night, Freddie. I recognize your name. I saw you the other day. I remember seeing Freddie Luke. Thanks for being here again, man. How do you send money? There should be like a little dollar sign at the bottom of the chat or somewhere on the chat. I'm actually not sure how it works. Let me pull up my phone so I can show you. There should be. Oh yeah, there's a dollar sign at the bottom of the chat. Thank you so much. $5 donation from All Valley Works. Thank you so much. Appreciate it so much. Like you guys have no idea. Take it easy, Keith. Have a great night. Hopefully I'll see some of you guys here tomorrow as well. I know everybody has to go to work. I'm not working tomorrow. So you guys be safe if you're in the snow area. Make sure you guys are careful going into work tomorrow. Watch those slick roads. Take your time. Leave a little bit sooner. If you're running behind, it's better to be late for work than it is wrapped around a tree or underneath a semi or something. So be careful going to work. Take your time. Cash app him. YouTube takes way too much. Hey, if you guys want to cash app me, I'm not going to say anything about that, but enjoy. Check forecast says there's going to be 25 mile per hour wind in parts. Yeah, absolutely. There's the brown here real quick. The brown here is wind advisories. So this whole area is under some pretty good wind advisories. No problem, Teresa. I'm Teresa. Yeah, I pronounced that right. Sorry if I mispronounce your guys' name. I'm terrible with names. Terrible with towns too. Yeah, especially in northwest Georgia, snow drifting could definitely be a problem. Right through here could definitely be a problem. Right, you got those heavy snowfall amounts coming in, and those wind advisories up there with 30-mile-per-hour wind, absolutely. You could definitely get some drifting snow. So that'll make even plowing the roads even harder, especially in areas that aren't used to heavy snow. How much snow for Washington, D.C.? Winter storm warnings all up through there, probably anywhere from 4 to 8 inches, and then isolated 8 to 10 inches. Heavy snow. That's okay. It's okay. Ryan Hall's a good guy. We work together quite often. He uses a lot of my storm chase footage on his channel. Some of y'all might have even saw, if you watch Ryan Hall all the time, you probably saw some of my work on there. He's used it just about every chase the last few months. Heavy snow in Dalton, Georgia. Yeah, I think so. I think there's a potential there. Higher elevations, definitely. But I think the big reason why there's a winter storm watch this far south is because you guys aren't necessarily used to it. But I think maybe 1 to 3 inches in that area. And then higher elevation, you're pushing 5 inches probably. He said snow is afraid to fall in Pittsburgh because people are going to snort it. That's funny. Yeah, you can. I'm not sure how to do it. The $2.99 is the membership. You guys can actually subscribe and like become a member of the page now and receive like videos that I don't show anybody else. That's brand new. I mean, it literally just started today. I haven't really promoted it yet much, but I'm sure there's a way to do it. I'm not sure how though. I've never actually done any like donations on YouTube before. I've donated to like things like on Facebook, but not YouTube. Virginia Beach. Yeah. Virginia Beach it's close. It's kind of like in this region. So it's very close to those winter storm warnings. So there is potential to definitely see some accumulating snow there. I'm not sure if you guys are going to get like the 8 inches or anything. But I think you guys could get a couple of inches of snow there. It'd be really, really close. It's like on just one of those areas where it's right at the cutoff. Brandis, I mean, it's fine, man. You don't have to be here. Any snow in Greensboro, North Carolina? At least I'm communicating with you guys, right? I mean, that's a big problem with other people that they don't communicate with the comments. So if your butt hurt, you can go somewhere else. It's fine. I saw snow in Butler, Pennsylvania earlier. Okay, cool. So I don't know where Butler, Pennsylvania is. It's somewhere up here. Athens, Georgia. So here's Georgia. Georgia again is like one of those areas. It's kind of hard. So anywhere like northwest Georgia, I think Athens is what, somewhere down in central Georgia, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. So really just a big wind issue as well as some rain. Probably a little bit of flooding in there, but not nearly as much as the flood watches back here in North and South Carolina. Definitely not slamming Ryan at all. I was more slamming you because you're crying. Clover, South Carolina, any severe weather. I don't know where Clover is, but here's the tornado watch back here. And then here's your flood watch right up through here. Severe thunderstorms, not so much across South Carolina. However, there is an area like right through here, probably the chance of a tornado or two tomorrow. So definitely be careful if you live in that area. Yeah, I mean, that's going to happen. People are going to get all upset and stuff. It is what it is. Thank you to my moderator for blocking them. I hope it snows eyeball deep to it. I've never heard of that phrase before. I'm going to use that now. Thank you for the subscription, guys. Ask any last minute questions you have. We're kind of moving. What's the difference between sleet and hail? Man, that's a good question. Really good question. So your sleet happens when you have, how am I going to put this where you guys can understand? Sleet is kind of like when the air at the surface is cold and the air above is warmer. Okay, so it's rain up above, and by the time it hits the ground, the cold air at the surface freezes it, becomes sleet. Hail is when you have warmer air at the ground and colder air aloft, and you have updrafts and severe thunderstorms that hover rain up ahead and freeze the rain into little balls, and then gravity takes over and drops it from there. So your sleet is when it's colder at the surface, and then your hail is when it's warmer at the surface. It's kind of how a different pattern on how it freezes. It's kind of the opposite. Yeah, it's gonna happen, Casey. It's not a big deal. Dalton, Georgia. It should be transitioning into snow here pretty soon. We can actually pull radar real quick before we get out of here. So there's Dalton, Georgia, right here on my map. It's still kind of in the rain phase, but it's coming towards you. All this area right here will eventually turn to snow, and it'll kind of push this direction. So probably here in the next couple hours, hour or two. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and finish up any last second questions here. Probably the next 2 or 3 minutes, and we'll get off of here for the night. And then we'll come back tomorrow and chat about the winter storms, because we've been on here for 3 hours now. It's crazy how quickly time flies when I'm doing a live stream. It's 12:30 in the morning Eastern time, so I need to get some sleep. Southeast Kentucky. It's a good question. Actually, I haven't really even paid attention to Southeast Kentucky yet. Yeah, Southeast Kentucky is under those winter weather watches and warnings for sure. Probably some chance 4 to 8 inches in that area. Okay, great. I'll see you tomorrow night for sure. I'll be here. I'm going to wake up tomorrow. I'm going to do a forecast video if I feel that there's something coming up in the forecast. And then I will do a... What the hell are you guys talking with Poopy? Who is Poopy? How is this? I've seen that comment like 5 times in the last 15 minutes. Y'all are ridiculous. How much snow for Philly? Yeah, it's kind of... I don't know. It's kind of on the fence right now. You can go anywhere. I would say at least 2 inches, but if this system continues like a trend to the north, it could be more. We'll definitely give an update in the morning on that. I don't know what the hell you guys are talking about. If it's snowing, I'm not going. I like that. I like that. What does the... Oh, that's a good question. What does that mean? I meant to look at that earlier. Coastal flood watch. So it means that they're expecting probably some flooding to come out of the Chesapeake Bay there and kind of dive into that area. So that's why there's some flooding potential up there. So that's coastal flooding. All them little areas of... Oh, I'm definitely going to use that. The eyeball deep onto a tall giraffe. Absolutely. I've never heard that one before. That's a good... Do I think tornadoes are likely in Raleigh? There is a tornado threat tomorrow across central to eastern North Carolina. So I think it's possible. We can actually pull up the day 2 outlook real quick because I already have it pulled up. Pull up cities. So it's kind of east of Raleigh. The more tornado threat, the green line is at 2%. The yellow line would be your 5%. So I think it's a little bit east of Raleigh tomorrow. So I think you'll be okay. Unless they kind of maybe bring it out west a little bit. How are we looking for Philly next Sunday? That's Corey. I think there's a potential for a pretty decent snow event next week, but I'm not sure about what days they are. I'm going to go more into that going into this week and next week. I'll let you know, Corey. Okay. I can. That's why I'm. That's why I'm circling them. Nick says, "How can you see the colors? I went to store mornings if you're colorblind." That's actually a good question. I wonder if there's a way to, because like even their, even their like area down here, it's still like it's color based, so you can't even drive in there for a football game. Yeah, I'll let you know, Corey. We got some Let's Go Brandons in the chat. Athens, Tennessee in the snowpath. I don't know. Let me look up Athens, Tennessee. I don't have my Tennessee cities memorized yet. Yes, it is. That snow actually should be moving into Athens, Tennessee here soon. So right there, yeah, definitely going to be snowing here in Athens soon. Right here's Athens, and here's your cutoff for that heavy snow. So your thick line of snow pushing this direction should be pretty much in your backyard here pretty soon. All right, guys, let's do any last second questioning and let's get out of here. But thank you guys so much for tuning in tonight. Really appreciate it. We'll come back tomorrow. We'll talk a little bit more tomorrow about the winter weather events happening across the East Coast, because we know that. And then we have another tornado threat tomorrow as well. So we'll have to cover that as well. So the title of tomorrow's video will probably be titled the same: Heavy Snow and Tornado Watches. Freaking Tyler, I swear. So we'll come back tomorrow. We'll talk about that. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you for being here. But until then, guys, have a great night. Sleep well. Be safe if you have to go to work in the morning in this winter weather. Drive safe. But until next time, guys, thanks. Make sure you subscribe too. Subscribe and follow. But thanks, guys. See you tomorrow.